right in the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, graduate, my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, when you batileo.
Spoon TV.
Yes, when you batileo.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stanton with the spoon. And your boy, right in the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon.
A special one from the CEO, Stanton with the spoon. And your boy, right in the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa.
It's yet another time, another opportunity.
You will know.
Sandra Corvan said in Sandra Kerry said in our quote, never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps to make a living, the other helps to make a life. Spoon Talk is here, Spoon Talk is there, Spoon Talk is everywhere. We are the beacon of hope, the fountain of beautiful broadcasting for this dispensation and dispensation dispensations to come, where you get authentic information you can use as tools and not to abuse. Dr. Richardson is on the other end. James Good Diploma is on. The CEO will shortly be joining with the rest of the team. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon, your sound coordinator for tonight's presentation. Get a friend to tell a friend that indeed get glued to your radio as we discuss the future of Mama Liberia, because the motherland will never fall. Good evening to you, Dr. Richardson. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Rufus, and good evening, Dr. Richardson.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Come on in, man.
You're always minding us, and Dr. Richardson is muted.
Muted again.
Oh, okay. You good?
I'm good. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I love the Sarani.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Yeah.
Thanks. I actually just positioned my table a little bit.
That's nice.
Got flowers from hubby and daughters for birthday, so it's still back.
Oh my God. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I saw you were doing a lecture on parenting and relationship, right?
Oh wow. So you do follow.
I do follow.
That's good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I guess I must have been a good parent to be getting flowers and everything at this stage, right?
No, that's good.
Yeah. Well, we're here today. It's another day of Spoon TV, Spoon Radio, and all of the other networks that you guys have. It's kind of cold out here today. We're getting closer to Christmas. My Christmas on you. Let me tell you first. I'll be the first people to tell you. And y'all will find a way to get it across the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
If I can find a way, y'all will find a way.
Cash app can work on this side, but it can work on that side.
That Sendwave.
Sendwave can work on this side, but it can work for you on that side.
Who told you that?
From here to you on that side.
And you'll find something like pepper. Somebody always come in pepper, dry.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Oh, you just took my mind to something. That's a nice
dry
one.
Fish, anything you'll find it, you'll put it, you'll wrap it up.
Oh yes,
Go to the
certainly.
airport.
I will see what I can do.
When you get admitted to Dr. Richardson. James,
Dr. Richardson.
Yeah.
No, this time people are afraid because people can give people drug, and to carry. At the end of the people can be afraid. James, what you want to say? To carry things, you must know the person, and and then to package the stuff, you must go before that person and showcase what you are sending out. With that,
you did not play that you go in Lofa Kante, like
the person will feel comfortable. The person will feel comfortable, James.
Yeah, be cautious. Yeah. But
everything will be processed, bro.
Yeah, anyway, work on it, Rufus.
Yeah, I work on it.
Work on it. And then you can find one of chocolate in Europe there. You got mailbox, no excuse.
Now the same thing I want some pepper.
I'm not. I ask you what you want for Rufus the five.
But James, you won't bring yourself out tonight again?
I'm talking to you, remember? I'm talking to Dr. Richardson. I said I want pepper. I miss pepper here a lot.
But send back home. You got a lot of folks back home to send pepper, man.
She just put one chocolate in a mailbox. You got that direct mail from wherever you are, straight to the United States. No problem. That Rufus, at least I can, gain some forgiveness because of the system you're in. But
the day they send me pepper, the day I get pepper, I will send you some.
Yeah, okay. I
send me the pepper.
But before the pepper get, I want a chocolate. I want European chocolate.
Oh, anyway, okay, I will try. Since I came here, I'm here to buy some.
Okay, but try. You'll find
I have not eaten some.
I know.
I can see it though, but to buy it,
I don't want that chocolate.
I can just feel weak about it. And normally I'm not a fan of chocolate, even when I was in Liberia.
You need to practice it, James. It's good for the body.
But you guys talk about pepper, you remind me, God, that bad thing we Liberians can do. So this Saturday, a group of my cousins that are here on the Chinua side, we decided we're going to go out to dinner, just to acclimate with each other, keep the family relationship over the Atlantic Ocean. And one of my cousins, she carried her pepper sauce, and it was nice. It was good. She carried to the restaurant. It was nice, so it was good that she carried because the restaurant food. I added that pepper sauce, the whole dynamic changed. It was just like awesome. So from now on, we'll be carrying our pepper sauce with us. Yeah. Thank you, cousin. You know who I'm talking about. Thank you for carrying a pepper sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day I visit Liberia, those are things that I will not even talk about bringing any other thing that much. Simple things like African soup. I think about a suitcase I'll bring.
No, actually, when I go, James,
My next trip to Liberia.
when I go, I know this girl who usually makes dry fish for me. I usually bring a suitcase bag of dry fish. It lasts me at least 6-7 months. So she dries it and they put it in aluminum foil and everything. And then I go and get paper from the health department. I think that's you got to pay for it. And then I just show it when I get to the airport. And it's for consumption. So
it's good.
I would sell it. I mean, I share with my family members some of it, but yeah, once you put our dry fish in like palm butter or cooking pepper soup, that's it. She's very good. So anyway, what's going on in our country today?
Oh, Rufa, they say what going on? You go off. With them, our country every day a new development.
What you heard? Yeah, nothing.
Okay. Today, ANC had, let's say, the retired suffering team headed by Martin S. Kohler and Mr. Brown or Ambassador Brown.
Mm-hmm.
They had a press conference today just to give update, and they said they are on course, and they are expected to see over 100,000 people at the rally. They are expected to see over 100,000 people at the rally, and they also give update to the public where they can get T-shirts. Okay. And they also said it is not just restricted to maybe Liberty Party or ANC members. If you are from anywhere, you can wear any T-shirt, any party T-shirt, you can wear it. So that means even folks from within the CDC can also attend. Or they just show them place where you will go. They just do that printing on your shirt, whether it is scroll like this or whatever. They just put it there. We tired suffering or I'm tired. And they also said many people are joining them, many groups. There is this group in Liberia, Disenchanted Seditions. They've been reaching out to me. They did a couple of times. They want to.
Why they reached out to you, James?
Yeah, the first time they came out, they said they wanted me to have press conference with them.
Oh, okay, for professional reason. Oh, actually, what
regarding why they are Disenchanted Seditions, but it came around my traveling time, so I never had a chance. And when I came back, when I came on this side, we lost contact. And they also talk about one most important part that catch my attention has to do with their connection with the ex-rebels or the ex-combatant. They are saying that the guys are linking with them. They already made radio appearance. They appear on Truth FM. Martin Kohler talk about it. Those ex-combatants, they said they are also part of, they are coming out to join the team because they already made radio appearance one time to talk about the protests. So Louis Brown was asked, why are you linking with ex-rebels to form part of your protests? Do you want them to come? And looking at what the U.S. Embassy, a statement that came from the U.S. Embassy after one of Liberia's government officials was sanctioned, and his punishment was also linked with ex-rebels, and he said those guys are Liberians. They should be allowed to form part of it. So that is quote unquote the controversial part now that the protest or the rally has reached, where ex-combatant in Liberia, we call them ex-rebels, are now coming to join a protest that we thought was just maybe for the ordinary people, but folks who play with gun are now coming to join the protest. We hope again they will give more update on it, why the guys are coming, what they intend, because they said they did not just limit it to the ex-combatant. They also talk about professional military, former military personnel, professional former military personnel are also in the group. They are joining, so we hope that Cummings will be able to quote unquote explain, that is his team, because he's the head now. His team will be able to explain to us why these people are coming to join, what they intend. So far, that's the most important thing that we saw today happening. Yeah.
That's good. Thank you for updating us. Just a few thoughts, which I'm sure we're going to elaborate. We're going to expand on it. Um, I, aren't ex-combatants or ex-rebels, are they are Liberians, are they, right?
Yeah, that's the justification Ambassador Brown came out with, and he was very careful with the word. We need to be careful with them because they have a training that you cannot let go, that cannot just drop from their hands. Meaning, where they came from yesterday, we know them, and we should take care of them, and every government should do what they can to make them look good. So maybe that's one of the ways in taking care of them. Yeah.
It almost sounds like, the beginning of inclusiveness. I don't know if this group have been left out of um, maybe just society decision making process, or to just be on the fringe of society, they've been marginalized. So maybe is this the beginning? Again, we're just exploring here, we're just having a conversation, so I don't know the thought behind including them, but I just wonder if this is the idea of making them feel a part, even though you have had this past, this very you know uh, difficult past, this past where many people might see as an outlaw in society. Now there's going to be ways where we're going to just include you in, you retire suffering. I mean, if you in Liberia you retire suffering, despite the fact that you're a professional or an ex-combatant, you tire suffering. That's the theme that runs through everybody. It seems like it, like, um, so I'm just wondering. I'm just, I wasn't there. I don't know, but that sounds like what might be happening right now. And some people might argue, no, we need to continue to keep these people on the outskirts of society. We shouldn't bring them in because of the history. That could be an argument that somebody could also make. But interesting, interesting. Rufus, any thoughts? Any thoughts or anything that James?
No, basically, Jim said it all. I was trying to get some stuff settled up, back here when I was called upon and left the live feed. So,
Mhm.
but basically, our country is where it is. We only need to brace ourselves for the challenges ahead because, mind you, we are at the crossroad. Any decision we make now will determine the next 6 years. So we need to be wise. We
Yeah,
either retain or we let go.
yeah,
So making such decisions, we must think twice because, mind you, um, politics in Liberia, for some of us, it is just because of our profession, but I don't melt in politics because politics in Liberia is so childish, sorry
yeah.
to say,
No, you're right.
and it's so poor. Even it can be compared to the kids Down the line when it comes to what we do here with our politics. Politics, people say is about interest, yes, but what message are you taking out to the people? We rather propagate the message of our opponents than bringing our own message to the people, what we're able to do for them, what we are able to do for them, and what transformation we can cause for the nation. But rather, we go gutter, go bad. And mind you, the younger folks are seeing these things and they are the forerunners of these acts. The people, politicians will always sit there and put you at the forefront as a young person, and they go in the back having their conversations. You would not know what is happening behind the scene as a young person, and you are put out there to do the worst. So it's about time the young people put themselves together and ask the question, what have I achieved over the years with the battle cry cheer position I've received all the time? What benefit am I taking back to my children? Some of us, we are born in our children. There's no program for the young people. What support are we getting? But we sit there, we want to be at the forefront of all of the chaos. With no benefits coming our way as young people. How can we take over from the older ones when we are not prepared? It's just like an ill-prepared student, an ill-prepared teacher preparing ill-prepared students. So we need to think it over as young people.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Our country, you're right, is at a crossroad. I used the phrase last week, somebody's hero is somebody's terrorist. And that's kind of what it sort of feels like for Liberia. And there's a lot of forgiveness that we should have done that a long time ago after the war, but that never happened, correctly. So we are where we are. It's almost like we got to take people on a day by day basis, like face value. And I don't want to be too judgmental or generalize on everybody. Everybody have their own story as to you know, what they did, the reason why they did it, and how they did it. Some people, if you ask them, they said they were children. Some people, if you ask them, they were forced to get involved in the war to save their families. Some people were just outright inhumane, so they joined it. Some people were animalistic, so they joined it. They joined the fighting. They became combatants. Some people are on drugs. So there are all these different stories, these different reasons, so we can't, I don't want to put everybody into one category. The hope is whoever gets into power can develop a very, very intentional strategic plan for reintegration, which should have been a plan before. But this is we find ourselves in Liberia. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You done? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. No, you did the opening on how you call it, the ex-combatant, and you were asking whether it is the way to inclusiveness. Is that what came out right? That is what you said, right?
That was what I asked.
Okay, that was the question you asked. But Dr. Richardson, let's sometimes look at it this way. In Liberia, not just Liberia, people who, have been associated one way or the other with that side of life, with destruction. Yes, it's good to include them. Inclusiveness is good to rehabilitate them. We can do that. But at times, the way we carry on the inclusiveness will determine whether we are going for the real inclusiveness. Looking at what happened, let's see what happened couple of years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, when these ex-generals had a meeting. What was it? Someone said their intent was good. So one person would say their intent was good. They were trying to warn another person who was, who was seen as a threat to them, or they were backing somebody who they believe in because they saw another person attacking that person verbally or somehow. Another person will say, no, they are not good to be in our society. So I think, anyway, we hope the team will come and talk about it. But ex-rebels linking up with a rally, looking at, let's use our Liberian term, with a protest, looking at the history of protests. The very first time we had a very large protest in Liberia and it turned out to be peaceful was on June 7th when Costa and others staged their protest, Save the State protest. I think that is arguably the largest peaceful protest ever in the history of our country. But bringing people who form part of our dark age, people who form part of our dark age, people who created the dark age, who some of them were forced to join the dark age period to take us through those years, bringing them, and you're talking about something that is going to be peaceful, you bringing those people in, it is trauma. Somebody who lost his or her parents during the war, somebody who lost almost everything during the war, when they hear those guys' name, even today, when they hear their names, like there's a guy in Liberia who was at the Lutheran compound when that massacre went on. They killed everybody, his entire family besides him. I'm forgetting about his name. He's one of the advocates in Liberia today about this war crime code. So how he's going to feel? I think what Johnson, I'm forgetting about his name, man. He lost everybody, his family member, everyone died besides him. At that time, I think he said he was around 15, 16. He lost everyone. Only he survived. So you going for a peaceful protest, you bring no people. They were part of the team that destroyed his entire family. You bring in those people, you think he's going, how that is going to play on his mind. It's trauma, though. I think, in my own opinion, I think it was not okay to, even if they are coming, maybe it was not okay to just make that pronouncement. That's my opinion, looking at what we went through. During the Second War in Liberia, after Charles Taylor became president, yes, I went through some. I walked a lot, and I saw things. Some of my very close friend, when we were coming up between Lofa and Bon County, around Wheeler, he lost his life there when we were coming. Straight bullet took him away, and I was right in front of him, and he was behind me. He died. He lost his life, and according to our parents, we were born like just 3 days between. He came after 3 days. My mother gave birth. Who knows? Maybe he was going to be here today. So I think it's terrible, though. Yeah, I don't know how other people will see it. It's terrible to associate yourself with them. You can associate in a positive way, right? In another way, like you want to transform them, but taking them out in the street to say you are staging a peaceful rally, let's term it like that, to tell people, say we are tired. The implication of them coming out to say they are tired. If these guys come out and at the end of the day, they are well trained, they know about weapons, it's going to be terrible. Yeah, I hope you guys will talk about it, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, James, your point is well taken, especially your point about trauma, definitely. But like that's the complexity of our country. Our country is a complex country. It needs a leader that.
How are you, CEO?
Oh yes, Theo, welcome. We're just finishing a topic here, and I don't know what he's doing. All I would have. Anyway, that's the complexity of our country. That's all I can tell you. But I can tell you that the rebels are there. People are provoked. I'm not going to name, but I have a good friend who There's markers in Liberia. As soon as she passes by those markers, she cries. You know, it traumatizes her. She was in Liberia during the war, and you know, just names, things. Before River, she had a story to tell me. The mansion, she had a story to tell me. So even without a person, there's a story. So Liberia is complex. That's why I say I don't.
Why you guys talking about Rebel today?
Huh?
Why are you guys talking about rebels?
No, well, because they were in the news. That's why.
What happened?
ANC bringing them to join. They have already joined the retired suffering Rally committee.
Rebels from where?
Ex rebels, ex combatant, those who fought the war. Oh, he laughed at all of my people.
Yo, man. Rufus, how you doing, Rufus?
I'm always grateful and good.
Let's just observe that Richardson and good day today. Yeah? Ex-rebels joining retired suffering.
Yes, sir.
So who the rebel general among them?
They are leader. The person will speak the next press conference. They are expected to speak.
The leader? Is this true though? Is this true?
Oh yes. They had a press conference today and Martin announced it. He said they appear on Truth FM with his team to give more publicity about the rally.
To see.
And Louis Brown was asked by Aaron Kubel. Aaron asked, "Why are you bringing these people on board when the U.S. government sanctioned somebody? Somebody got sanctioned by the U.S.
you
government."
Get a clip, right?
I get it.
Okay, so we'll play the clip. Yeah. I'm laughing because listen, we're going to discuss this. We got the guys coming on. It's already 9 p.m. in Liberia. We're going to have a wonderful show. Are we bringing back ex-rebels to say we tired suffering? What's the game plan here? What's the game plan, Dr. Richardson? What are people trying to do? Hey, man. Is this really with tired suffering rally, though? James, is this already with tired suffering rally?
That is what I'm thinking.
Then we begin to ask some, we get into a scary territory here. Then we want to ask some very important questions.
Wait until we get more information.
No. I understand, man. I understand. With all due respect to my wonderful doctor. But let me talk to my two people on the show.
Go ahead.
We are entering into uncharted territory here right now. Something is not. Maybe you're right, Dr. Richardson. Maybe I will wait, but we are reinventing the wheel. What's the agenda of this? What's the actual agenda? The objective of this retired suffering. Then you guys need to tell the Liberian folks what really behind this retired suffering. Once I hearing these names, there's something is about this retired suffering. But you know, let us welcome all of our folks.
Yeah, we didn't do that yet.
I'm getting confused. I am. James Goodday. Is it about retired suffering now? Again, I don't know why you are under the snow today.
The video
show should be working today, but you're under the snow. And you didn't give me this information on how to run and come home.
The video is ready. Just in case you wanted to roll.
Yeah, play a little bit of the video. Yeah, we're gonna get everybody coming. Play a little bit of this video. Let's see something.
Okay.
On True FM, the Muslim Veteran Association of Liberia, some of them experts, ex-combatant, and some of them professional security personnel, part of that institution, make some appearances with one of our big appearance with one of our colleagues, Siapa Dennis on True FM.
My question goes not specifically to you, but the Mr. Martin Kohler. While you were addressing the press and mentioning names of institutions and groupings that have endorsed this protest, he talked about, the rally, sorry. The rally, he mentioned a group comprising ex-combatants, ex-servicemen. We can recall quite shortly the U.S. government sanctioned a former government official, and as part of the release or the statement that came from the U.S. was that individuals were supporting ex-combatants. How did you reach at the point where ex-combatants are endorsing your protest? Is it that you're sponsoring them, sponsoring their activities? They're part of the CPP too as well?
I take it from my boss. Part of the problem with our country is
we're going to hold Louis Brown answer for a bit. I think Aaron asked a very, very wise question. In line to his belief and professionalism, we are yet to talk about. I'm even calling him veteran. Veteran of what? But I believe the mental state, the mixtures of those that fought the war and the actual armed forces of Liberia veteran. Dr. Richardson, how did we come this far? How? And folks need to understand this whole retired suffering right now changing. It's changing. We need to speak to Liberians tonight. We need to ask the organizer about their own game plan as to what really they're trying to achieve. We need to ask the CPP organizer what they're really trying to achieve. Is that actually retired suffering, or is that something hidden behind this retired suffering they are not telling the Liberian people? When you talk about ex-rebel fighters, you are taking us back in the dark age. And when you're talking about the man Louis Brown, talking about bringing ex-rebel fighter, you are talking about Daniel Che, and talking about we're going to bring the ex-rebel fighter. And even you are talking about Yeka Koruba. Something is not right. So then we're going to ask the question, what is the purpose of this retired fighting? The actual reason that they are behind the real cause of suffering in the country, like they said. Dr. Richardson, are we missing something here, Dr. Richardson? Can you help us understand what's the aim of these organizers, their team? What message are they trying to put out there? I mean, where are we today with this retired fighting? And your folks from CPP trying to project on the Liberian, or for ANC projecting that, yes, this is what we're talking about, is suffering, but yet it still carry us back to October Autopause 1990, April 6, reliving the event under the shield retired suffering. Talk to us, Dr. Richardson. This will be very interesting today.
Yeah, Liberia is a complex country. We can go back to our history and look at our foundation and see, how people are traumatized. We can even go back to the recent civil war was traumatizing for a lot of people, and this is how come when we talk about different groups like ex-combatants, it creates feelings for many people. But the sad thing about it, we didn't do justice to many people in Liberia. After we had our Civil War, or even before our Civil War, nothing was put in place for reintegration, rehabilitation, counseling for anybody, even the professionals that they talk about, the veterans that was mentioned. When you're a veteran, you have services available to you because um, we it is expected that you will go through some difficulty in life based on the nature of your job. But none of that were put in place, and including this present government did not do that. And now I think the announcement that was made today perhaps was beginning to say, let's become inclusive, as difficult as it is for all Liberians. There's a possibility that we'll have maybe concerns veterans showing up at the rally. We'll have ex-combatants showing up at the rally. We'll have ex-rebels showing up at the rally because they too are tired of suffering. They live in Liberia. They live among Liberians. They are in our legislature, whether we want to or not. They are in our government, whether we want to admit it or not. And so they are there. So some of these people, they're not in our legislature. I see you shaking your head, Chief. You said not in our legislature. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were talking to me. So they are there. They are there. And you don't actually need, sometimes buildings can trigger trauma, people can trigger trauma, smell can trigger trauma, a lot of things can, music can trigger trauma, sound can trigger trauma. But our country is complex. This is what I'm trying to say. And we have to start from somewhere. I don't know where. I'm not sure if, I think James raised an excellent point right before you came in. He said, you mentioned something about, in my head, how I heard it was, why now? What other type of inclusiveness are we doing? Why does it have to be the inclusiveness of a rally? So that was an interesting question, if that's what you raised. What's going to happen after the rally? And so I think that's an interesting question. But yes, this is how I feel about it. We have to, these people are Liberians, they're tired of suffering. So just because someone fought a war before, does that mean that they're not tired of suffering in Liberia?
So Dr. Richardson, you asking the question, and we will ask you even more question because you are from CPP. Let's just understand ourselves as we move on. This retire suffering. We know you say you got lawmakers who fought in the war. There's nothing in place for rehabilitation since Madam Salif's time to today. But to bring them out in a protest, to go and get them, the question will be, what have you done for them? Because folks can say, who created them? The very Louis Brown. For this alleging out there that Louis Brown, Donald Trump, they all created them. So now you won't bring back the ghost? You won't bring back the militant? You won't put them behind you to say we tired suffering? I told them we tired suffering for folks that just let the message be the message. So again, Liberians want to understand what's the actual reason of this retired suffering. Because then you are not projecting suffering. What's your aim? What's your objective? As you say, retired suffering. Like one of the young men that one of the individual, he's not young no more, that he make mention of. I think it's on the clip, Joseph Duo, aka Chavez. If you understand what this guy did, that Louis Brown can take the whole CPP, ANC, and let this guy not be the face of retired suffering. You got to understand. I think the whole retired suffering thing now is turning into a fashion-like organization. And I think that's a very scary territory we're going to find ourselves in. But I'd be glad to open the phone line to speak to folks that we can have this conversation. I think the message of retired suffering now, uh, Louis Brown began to turn this thing around. And it's scary that Louis Brown, folks are saying that he's making it about himself now. About Louis Brown as a national security advisor to Chastito. Is that the strength? Because we passed those days. And if you want to tie Louis Brown position, and he emerging now as a retired suffering general, so I will bring the old soldiers. Don't you think he need to ask these questions and he need to answer this question? Because it's not right though. It's confusing, it's scaring, and I think people got to keep their eyes open now. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, I get a little bit confused when people say that we're going to bring ex-combatants to the rally. Okay. They are there, whether we like it or not. Ex-combatants and ex-veterans, they're in Liberia. They've been there since the Civil War. They are there. They are Liberians. And so to me, I just wonder, uh, you know, so if they came to the rally, if you're having a rally or protest, if they came, do you say, sorry, y'all can't come because of what you guys did in the back? This is not the place that y'all belong to. I don't know. It's almost like me telling, so if we do that to that Liberian, those Liberians, what stops us from doing it to another type of Liberian? So this is what I'm struggling with in my head, trying to understand, like how do we make sense of this? Like when people say they come in there or they're in Liberia, the Liberians, they fought war. We didn't do anything when we needed to do stuff for them. So this is the country that we have. We can't hear you, Stanton.
I'm sorry, Dr. Richardson. James, you got a clip. You got a okay. We're gonna call that and play for the folks to hear this thing. The question, and I'm waiting for the rest of the team. We're gonna be playing Louis Brown answer. Dr. Richardson, must you openly invite them? Must you? Oh, like, can I beg?
I'm sorry. After you ask me a question, go ahead.
Yeah, I will ask you a question, but it's a double kind of question. Must you go out to look for them, knowing who Louis Brown is? Those guys respect him because he brought them to where they are today. Can we say that? As National Security Advisor to the President, Chastito, as National Security Advisor to NPFL organization, Louis Brown. I know folks going to get mad tonight, but that's okay. Are you going back now to Butuo, to Banga, to find your lost boys, your lost soldiers, to bring them to retire suffering? Is that what you're about to do? Are you going back down to recruit them again and say, we are the masses, we can't get tired? What's the game plan for this retired suffering? Go ahead. Reunite with Prince Johnson then. Go ahead, reunite with the rest of them. Don't you think it will be unique to do so? I've been very serious because for folks to go out there, people that actually deserve this retired suffering rally, and for Louis Brown to change this rally, like he's on a mass recruit for those lost days and lost soldiers, to bring them on the street. Who knows what ex-Louis Brown is planning? I mean, listen, man, this is not about my friend and your friend. This is straight talk. And I think that's where we are, and we need to talk about this thing. So go ahead, Dr. Richardson, but I will tell you this for free that it's a wrong move, a very dangerous ground on shallow water. This thing, it requires a lot of explanation, and Louis Brown is turning this thing into something else. He's turning this thing into the old Louis Brown that we know, and I think it's not good for the CPP organization.
So, I understand your perspective and, the view that James presented as well. And anyone who feel like having people who fought the war before participate in a rally might be triggering for them. Okay, I understand that completely. I know how trauma works. My thing is these people are in our country, they're in leadership positions, they're there, they're in our government, they're part of coalitions. The NPP is there, a lot of NPP originated during the Civil War crisis. And so how do we move forward with our country? Well, if they come to the rally, and I heard the clip that James played, I didn't see anybody inviting them. I just heard a clip that's saying these people endorsed this rally. And if you are an ex-combatant or veteran in the country, you tired of suffering. This rally is for people who are tired of suffering, whether you are professional, whether you're a veteran, whether you poor, whether you market woman, whether you yana boy, whether you keke driver, whether you whatever. If you are tired of suffering, that's the theme of the rally. Then you should be there. But if you live in large, you getting your good electricity, good water, you relax, you got your yard boy, your horse gear, you got everything coming, your allowances, then the rally is not for you. So I'm sure people who are ex-veterans, ex-combatants, ex-professionals, or how they call it, I'm sure these people have been marginalized in our society. They have
What have
been.
you? Well, Dr. Richardson, the question is.
By interrupting me now. Okay.
But I'm the moderator, and I can interrupt you because I need to ask you a question.
Well,
you know how it works now.
You do that.
Yeah, that's why it's good to do that, because then I take you off your balance. So it's good like that. But I want to ask you though. So if you say all those things, we'll ask you then, what have your organization done for them? Those guys that you want to bring on the street today, those ex-combatants, what have your organization, the CPP, done for them?
So let's put it this way. I think we need to change our language from we want to bring them on the streets. I think when we present,
that's what you guys say you're doing.
No,
that's what you're doing. You're bringing them. You're bringing them out now. You're taking them from the corner side. You're put into the mind with no form of rehabilitation. You're saying it's okay that they can come and project their anger, and when this thing turns up, and you always say, "Oh, we didn't do that."
My goodness, you really come back to nursing now. They come to project the anger.
No, that's exactly what's happening. We are in a mental health class now. They are projecting their anger, and what I'm saying to you, what have you done for them? Okay, you listen. I think the mistake here is that, and the mistake you're continuing to make is that you're using Louis Brown to go into the past. That shows no strength. Louis Brown is showing this as strength. But what have you done for them? Mr. Cummings is running for election. He's been running since 2015. What have you done for those Zogos? Show the alternative pathway, that you will never hold Madam Salif and her government responsible. You will hold CDC, so you have not done anything. But if you are the alternative,
it's in power.
If you are the alternative, no. You are in America. You know what they call non-governmental organization.
By choice.
You know that you should have non-governmental influence.
By choice.
You know you should have non-governmental intervention.
By choice.
What have you done? You want to serve the people when you're meeting the people, but you're not ready to help them. You never helped them 2015. You never helped them 2016. You never helped them 2017. You never helped these people 2018, 2019, zero, 2020, COVID, 2021. We are in 2022. What have you done to rehabilitate these very people now that you want to bring on the street? Number one, you, Louis Brown, you created them. Number two, you forsake them. You neglected them. You ran away from them. And Mr. Cummings came in the picture 2015 and said, I want to be president. So can you tell us some of the things that Mr. Cummings have done in helping these people? No. But you called them, say, we're ready to see you guys again on the battlefield. Tell us, what have CPP, Mr. Cummings, ANC, what have they? You know, I will not even say CPP no more. I will just say ANC. What have ANC done?
Okay.
What have ANC done, Dr. Richardson?
So
that now they have pushed them away, but now they're asking them to come and say, you stand beyond the retired suffering. This is nothing to laugh about, though. We should stop laughing about this thing. This is a dangerous ground. Louis Brown and the organizer are trying. This is very dangerous. We should stop this. Because now I'm seeing you and the rest of ANC going to Butuo to recruit and bring back the old soldiers.
And that's what
I'm seeing you and the rest of ANC. No, to be frank, we shouldn't joke about this one. You brought no alternative, but you're going back to the dark age.
Can I?
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yes, laughing at how you have perceived what Mr. Brown said, how you and James Goodday have perceived it, and now you are verbalizing it to our audience. I heard that tape. I didn't hear Mr. Brown nor Mr. Colette say we're going to bring them. I heard him say that they were endorsed, if I heard correctly now, and I didn't hear the entire thing. They were endorsed. Nobody forced these people to endorse retired suffering. Perhaps they are tired suffering. So when we come here and have a discussion, and then you say we are going back to our dark days, the dark days are in Liberia. Let's not forget. And the people who are responsible for rehabilitating, reintegrating, building services, creating services, it's the Liberian government, the government led by Child.
I think you are mistaken.
Yeah, the government.
And I beg to interrupt you again. It's not the Liberian government alone responsible for building rehabilitation centers. Now, for instance, though, I would give this to Senator Delon. Senator Delon tried to build. No. It's important because he said this should only be. Listen, and you guys come on Mr. Cummings on this thing every day, and that's wrong. No. Mr. Cummings is supposed to do it. No. There you go. Look in the mirror and say, "I let him finish." Go ahead. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
We have.
It's only 2 minutes now because I will interrupt you.
We have a government that receives taxes. We have a government that receives donor funding. And what have they done? 2017, nothing. 18, nothing. 19, only most recently, we heard them putting some building or some residential program together for Zogos, okay, which probably could be part of our ex-combatants, could be a part of what they categorize as Zogos, okay? So you cannot force Mr. Cummings or any organization for that matter, non-profit organization, to take care of our ex-combatants, to rehabilitate them, to reintegrate them. It is the government's responsibility. We live in this country here. When it comes to people receiving Medicare or in a government funding, the government don't have a choice to provide Medicare for people, health care, or food stamp. That is not a choice that this United States government has. But you know who got a choice? Any non-profit organization have a choice.
Where is your non-profit organization? Where is your non-profit organization, Dr. Richardson, in Liberia? Where is the ANC non-profit organization that helping those folks? Name me one.
I'm not even going to get into the need.
Oh, you can't get into it because you have none.
It's not.
You see, this is exactly what we always talk about, Dr. Richardson. When it comes to the ANC, you'll get on what they call self-defense mode. You say, oh, I can't say it because you have nothing to show.
That's not true.
Dr. Richardson, show me one of the alternative plan of this Mr. Cummings ANC in helping the very people you guys called on today to stand as a guard beyond your protest.
Let me
The
just tell
former
you,
rebel combatants.
I have been in Monrovia.
Show me one, Doctor. No. Call the name of the organization that Mr. Cummings had created, that ANC have created in helping these people. There's none.
I do this because I know there is, and the people who like.
Can you help us? Can you help us?
I'm not gonna get in, because
but then you say then you can
degrade the conversation.
No, but she can't. Listen. You know, but you can't tell us, Mama.
We'll minimize this conversation if I start name calling. But I know the Liberian people have benefited from the kindness, the goodness, because that's what a non-profit organization is, of Mr. Cummings and his family. On the other hand, we need to.
No, it's not on the other hand. Don't do this. Don't do this, man. It's not on the other hand. Don't do this. Let's stay on the same hand. Let's stay on the same hand. That's what you say. If your leader, Mr. Cummings, is a government in waiting, if your leader, Mr. Cummings, is a government in waiting, right? Show us, for the sake of good heaven, what have he done? What? One thing in helping to rehabilitate, to transform. No. Give me a chance now. Don't do this thing, my sister. But you understand that you will not say it. You will not say it because there is none.
Stanton, I have to tell you, I actually imagine you asking this very question in preparation for the show today, and my response was
I know I spoke to you before the show.
No, that's true. You didn't, but I'm saying I prepared for the show and I kind of figure out what you're going to ask. And I said to myself, we will not hold our government responsible to the people who collected money, because I said he's going to come and ask for Mr. Cummings and everybody else who it is a choice for them to help our country. And then you're going to tell us what, so we're going to ask, what did George Weah, what have George Weah, in my head, this is how I said I was going to respond to you. What have George Weah done to provide services for the locals, the ex-combatants?
I like your question. And I like your question.
What did he do?
I like your question, Dr. Richardson. And you got tens of thousands of Liberians listening to us right now, home and abroad. I like your question. We'll wait for someone from CDC to tell you what George Weah have done. I'm not here to preach the George Weah case. I'm not a sedition.
When I ask
you can hold on now. When we have a sedition on the show, I will ask them, what have this president, what have he done? But I will stick with you because your people, your organization, your ANC, your political leader, your chairman for Tim Cummings, Mr. Louis Brown, he asked him, his former soldiers, to come and rally with him, to come and protest with him. Who know what he's asking them? He asking his former soldier to rise up. That's bad. Oh yeah, ANC going to kill me tonight. I care less. CDC beat on me, ANC beat on me, and the Liberian people would benefit. But I would say this to you. And you got you people beat on me, then that the business too. I would say to you, that's the failure of the ANC organization. That's the failure of the ANC group. And that's the reason why folks are saying, why you guys allow Louis Brown to be the face of this We Tire Suffering rally. Why? Now Louis Brown, probably who know where else he going, to bring the former combatants. Hey, Dr. Richardson, you have never said anything, but you will say this one today. And I will hold you and I will ask you, what have Mr. Cummings done? And Liberians should listen to this. The Cummings Foundation, what have the Cummings Foundation done? What have Mr. Cummings done I'm not even going to put this on CPP because as far as I know, people say there is no CPP. They just said that there's no CPP.
So
So it's only ANC now. So what have made ANC done?
If I sit
to
here
help
today,
rehabilitate the very group that was created by Louis Brown when he was serving as national security. You see, and that's the reason why Mr. Cummings should have created a team Cummings to make Louis Brown the chair.
so
That's
if
the
I
reason
sit
why.
here today,
Because these things will come and haunt Mr. Cummings that have done nothing for those very people. And you want us to sit there and say, Kumaya, let's sit down, beat on everybody because that's the best we can do. But on this one, Dr. Richardson, your organization is wrong. Your people are wrong. Mr. Cummings is wrong. Louis Brown is dead wrong. On this one, a former national security advisor to the man that brought rebel activities in the country, now calling those very rebel group, those ex-combatants that need help, instead of finding a way to help them, he said, come and continue. Instead, we're going back to the old days. We will go back. Hey, man, Dr. Richardson, why are we here today? This is bad.
so Liberians, if you're listening, I can sit here and enumerate, I can name all of the things that Mr. Cummings has done for Liberia, but I think it won't be good enough for Stanton, okay? Because he's asking me, name one organization. He knows very well Mr. Cummings has a non-profit organization in the country.
What have the non-profit organization done to help with those folks that you call Zocos?
So I have living witness. I'm a living witness of
But
something.
you're not telling us. You're living witness, but the witness is
I just feel like if I tell
You're
you,
not telling us.
if I tell you, is it going to be good enough for you? Are we going to then go down another rabbit hole to another story? I was in Liberia. I spoke. I provided therapy. Okay, on behalf of the Cummings Africa Foundation for people, women who I provided therapy for women. You see, this is what I'm saying. It's not going to be you're gonna pick and pick and pick and pick. That's what
you spoke. How can you tell me, Stanton Witherspoon, that you spend your own money to transfer yourself to Liberia as a Liberian, as a good Samaritan? Now you want credit this to Mr. Cummings' organization. Dr. Richie say you serious? How can you tell me, Stanton Witherspoon? How can you tell me, Stanton Witherspoon, that you went there all by yourself and your sisters to help your fellow Liberian young women? Then now you want to credit it to Mr. Cummings' organization.
2020.
And you want to credit it to Mr. Cummings' organization. So then say Mr. Cummings also pay for our spoon trip to Liberia now. Maybe it will help him too.
You see why I can't say
No, James. No, Dr. Richardson, do me a favor. Tell the whole world that Mr. Cummings paid for the school team to go to Liberia. Because you are there saying that I went to Liberia, you went to Liberia, you visited Bokolon jail, you visited Boma, you visited Ganta when you were celebrating with Musa Benedict and pushing his campaign. You said, no, this was part of Mr. Cummings' organization. No, Dr. Richardson, not today. Not today. Not today, Mama. This is an issue that we need to eradicate. This is an issue that we need to transform because you need to tell the Liberian people that Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings also paid for the spoon trip to Liberia. Give him that credit as well.
Okay,
don't do that.
It's hard to defend.
It's hard to defend.
And welcome, Mr. Falcon, to the show. But Liberians, those of you who are listening to me, when you saw me in Liberia with the spoon team, it wasn't my first time going to Liberia. I was in Liberia prior to that. And prior to that, I go to Liberia every year. I've been doing it since I don't know when, since Charles Taylor days. Okay. I was in Liberia January 2020 during the heat of COVID. All right. I was actually there on behalf of the Cummings Africa Foundation. They ordered my expertise to go and help women who were in the shelter. That was one of my tasks. I was there in Liberia. I was providing counseling to women who were raped, okay, who were suffering, who were placed in shelters. They were designed. The government has
Wow.
the
Wow,
government has
mercy.
a program. I think they call it One Stop
My
Program.
God.
All
My
right.
God.
And the government actually.
You know what? It's very difficult, Dr. Richardson. You're a very nice woman. You're a very good doctor. Listen, you work so hard in America, and we respect you for it. But for you to contribute your hard work, your good religious. Hold on 1 minute now, Mama.
How
All the money that your husband is helping, all the money that your husband, Mr. Abraham Richardson, is helping you with, for you to give him that credit, you're giving that credit to the comments. To give that credit to the comments. Let's bring in Honorable Eugene
spend 2 weeks in Liberia.
Okay.
This is stuff that I don't like to brag about. I don't like talking about it.
Okay.
But
all right. But I would say to you,
I was actually hired to be like
Richardson,
to provide
the mistake you're making. The mistake you're making.
But when I
Mr. Cummings is the richest. I'm the moderator, Dr. Richardson. Mr. Cummings is the richest politician in this race. He got all the money combined. Yuri, Bwaka, Jowea, Tewon Gonglo, and the rest of them. Cummings have no one rehabilitation institution. He drive past all those folks people call Zokos, and I believe some of them come to him to beg for alms. They stretch their hands to him. Dr. Richardson, this is mistaken. We understand the government should be creative, but if you have Mr. Cummings waiting to be president tomorrow, and he's not helping them now, and say, I can only help you when I'm president, then we will ask the question to the Liberian people, is Mr. Cummings worthy to be the leader? Then we will ask the question to the Liberian people, is Mr. Cummings on the right path of representing this country? This is horrible. And Liberian in and of Liberia need to know this, Minister Fagon, St. Thomas and George. They need to know this. That is situation our brothers and sisters are faced with, that they are forced to go and do drugs and steal and live on the street and live between graveyards. It's not only government problem. It's every one of us problem. How dare a supporter of ANC can say the government should do it? The government cannot do it alone. It's everybody's problem. Especially those political leaders that want to take office, they need to do everything to help the situation in the country. But on the contrary, Louis Brown is now recruiting folks from Butuo to come and support retired suffering rally. That's disgraceful. Let me open the conversation to Fagon, my brother. Should I say you my brother-in-law, Timoni? No, you're not here, right? Timoni George, you my brother-in-law? Georgie, it may check in for the question. Eugene Fagon, but you were there when the man said you were my brother-in-law, Eugene. So maybe you can help on that. But let's go back to the conversation, my brother. It is important to know that I'm disturbed. I'm frustrated. We will also have a good conversation. Dr. Richardson just brought this up. I'm like, wow. Talk to us, Minister Fagon.
When you see me rubbing my head like this, I almost want to say, Stanton, 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 oh. Let me greet everyone on the panel, Dr. Richardson and Tamalin George and what have you. Yes, the government takes the bigger portion of the blame. It's part of the government's social contract with the people. But I should hasten to add, before I come to the ANC people, they will be the last. Let me deal with my people first. When you take over a government and for 5 years, drugs have been raining in the country like manna falling from heaven. The latest being $100 million worth of cocaine. And just as they left the microphone, here we are today, we can hear nothing. The people that were arrested, some of them were released, and public outcry brought them back into police custody and under the judicial system. If we say it's everybody's problem, which I agree with you, those who have the heavy lifting to do must lift. $100 million worth of cocaine in a small country like Liberia. Imagine Al Pacino. He will get $100 million back, or will begin to pay for it from people dying on the streets. Nobody can look at me in my face, not even Tommy George, can look at me and tell me, say, that was the first consignment. No businessman will send $100 million upfront straight away. He will send 10. If it passes, he say, that play got who? He sent 20. If it passes, say, that played a good business place. He sent another 40 million. It passed. Say, oh, but you know, let's just send 100 straight. But you know what that has been doing? It has been feeding the appetite of our less fortunate brothers for the substance that have been destroying them in particular and destroying the nation as a whole. To make matters worse, Mr. Kumi says, or at least his supporters, often brag about him having money. If Kumi takes to the idea of building an 8-bedroom rehabilitation counseling facility, I'm overconfident, overwhelmingly confident that Dr. Feinstein can team up with a group of counselors, psychiatric evaluators, or whatever you want to call them, around the country, and at least 3 times or 4 times a year, take people to that facility to treat people. But every day we hear about ANC, we hear about things, but we don't see it. We keep hearing about things, but we don't see it as a people. The last straw that broke the camel's back for me was for Yakula, Anthony Yakula, to agree that the school was built by Coca-Cola for the Liberian people. And then at the end of the day, to confess to the fact that the school has been run by Alexander B. Kumi's family. And I said, whoa. Well, there we go. The tape is available. You can play it. So I think we need to get to the point where our honesty drives the conversation. And that we do what we do and say what we do. Not say what we do and not do it. I'm just going to close on that note that it is a problem. But when you decide to use those people now, Stanton, then you are not using them like the normal people. I'm sure Tomali will agree with me. It means you are taking advantage of them. You are taking advantage of their situation. You are taking advantage of them. They don't know better. They're sick, and you are coercing them into participating into the politics of the day without the help, or you are using it to promise them. You are using them. You are abusing them. You are taking advantage of them. And I'm challenging anyone to say, how is it that people that are not considered well, people that are having issues, that you will come and use them for political purposes, and that cannot be defined as taking advantage of them? I'm looking for the person who's willing to hold that debate. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's move ahead. The Saint, Tommy George.
Evening to my fellow panelists. all our viewers in radio and TV land. Uh, on the issue about Mr. Cummings, if we start to say that to run for president, you have to do something, that means a poor man can run for president in Liberia. So I think it's unfair because if I meet the requirement to run for president, but I'm not a millionaire, I'm not wealthy, I can't run for president in Liberia. So I don't think it's fair. It is a person's own prerogative, their own personal free will. If they decide to do something for the people, it's their own free will. I think the best we can see is in the president in their platform and the vision to say, well, if I become president, this is what I'm going to do for the deserted population of our society, for the health sector, for the educational sector. But if we start to hold because somebody they have money and say, well, you got to do this before the Liberian people can take you serious or run for support you for president, it will be unfair to a young guy with a vision, a young woman with a vision, who has a vision for the wealthy. So I don't think it's fair. So that idea about coming to build a rehab center or do this, I don't think it's fair. We did not when we President Salif, all she did prior to becoming president, she was an advocate. She's during the military regime of President Doe, and also she opposed President Taylor, but she didn't do anything to say she built something or did something for the people so that she elected her. No, well, based on her advocacy and her stance as an opposition. President, we had the same thing. Okay, President, we had he was a celebrity, and the UN during the UN disarmament program of Liberia, they used him as a UN ambassador, goodwill ambassador to help the disarmament process. But Liberian people was. Am I on? Am I on?
You
Am I
on?
still
You
on?
good?
I mean, you in America and your
Go ahead.
internet pilot, huh?
That's my internet, but so it wasn't based on. President, we have celebrity status, and also for during our darkest day during the war, he was that shining person that people saw representing the country like Liberia. But he didn't have to do something to say he will build this and build that before the people electing president. So again, coming election 2023, it is based on people's vision for the country, their agenda. To say, well, if I'm elected, you give me the presidency, this is what I'm going to do for the country. But like usually you alluded to, look at our national budget. There should be no reason why the people you call Zogos should be left unattended in the national budget. Or just recently, I think this year, the Ministry of Youth and Sports or international partners launched a program to help the Zogos. But I think it should be prioritized. That's a national security threat to our country because these people are having babies, they are born. As the population increasing and it's spreading out the country. So if we do not, if action is not taken right now, it will become a national security threat to our country. So it's not one person. So all I want to ask Mr. Cummings, where's your vision? What's your vision to address the issue? Mr. Councilor Gongolo, what's your vision? What's your plan? Ambassador Boga, what's your plan for the Zogos? What's your plan for the next 6 years for these people? So I don't think we should hold anyone responsible for this. It's a collective, effort that we all should put in place. So I think, and then concerning the march, I mean, according to the CPP, they said it is now a protest. It's a rally, and on the Constitution, they have the right to call for a rally. They can do it and make speeches and talk about issues. They also said that if you are not suffering, it's not for you. It's for those who feel they are suffering, they are tired of suffering. So, as I said, the opposition, if they are serious to take on president, they cannot be seen fighting each other. The UP, Liberty Party, fighting ANC or CPP. You guys are joking. Should be if you want to take part in the rally, you can just disengage, but you don't have to criticize and then and fair to the opposition community. So I just pray and hope that they will try to farm CC reason and work for the greater good instead of fighting each other.
Thank you
Please
very
let me
much.
come in.
Let me.
He made
I
mention
want to
of
ask. I
something.
want to ask. I want to ask Tumani some questions.
Yeah,
I
because he
beg you.
made a mention of something I said,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I want
Let
to
me.
issue a
Since
correction.
Tumani George.
That's a point of information.
And before we do that, actually, let me hear from Dr. Richardson and Dr. Peabody. Then we will try to ask Timothy our question. Dr. Peabody, you go ahead first. Hope you have a better internet, brother.
Always.
Thank you.
So, yes. Let me say this. I've been following the conversation, and I will, let me just add to what Timothy said. I think the issue of contesting in Liberia on any presidential election and all of that, I think it's based on that requirement. And one of the requirements I don't see there is that you don't have to give up money or have to give her part of what you earn as your wealth to be able to run for president in Liberia. I think it's based on your own generosity. It's based on your prerogative. Determined said, if you want to help, if you want to build something in that country that will create, all of that. But I think it shouldn't be based on that. I think, and that's the notion that a lot of people have, even the voters in Liberia, that in order for this guy to lead, or in order for this person to be a representative, a senator, you must have given some money, or you can always hear the question, what have you done? What have you done in Liberia? So even if I'm in America, and I say, you know what, my people are going through a lot. I want to go back to run. I will give her everything here to go back and run. The first thing I ask me, oh, you're in America, fire. You ain't getting nothing. You want to come home and be senator? I don't think it should be based on that. It should be based on the desire to serve their people. Even though some of the people go in there and want to become selected to change, but I think it should be on your desire, your willingness to serve people. It's a good thing. If you give, if you open a hospital, you open a school, it's going to promote you in a way. So, oh yeah, he built a school, he was very generous and all of that. But I don't think that's a requirement for being president. I think Liberians should now learn to vote on policy, on people who will bring the right platform to them, something that will help and to push the country forward. Secondly, on the protest, as I said here last week, I think the opposition are creating problems for themselves. Because if you criticize the very man who hopefully maybe one day it will be running together to run against President Weah, you're creating problems. You don't know who in that opposition will be selected or who y'all want to join with there to win an election in our country. I think what it should do, if Santa is doing something I don't support it, I mean, and everybody is giving an opinion and I don't support it, to be on the fair side, I will just be quiet. I won't say anything if I don't want to take part into that. But to go against yourself, the next time you're having a protest, the same group can come and say, you know what, the last time was doing it, didn't help me, I will call against it. I think to win an election in Liberia, we need a united opposition. You can't win if you're not united, unfortunately. So that's my 1 cent for that.
Thank you, Dr. Peabody. And let me say this, folks. Y'all forgave the money and Dr. Peabody. They came late. They didn't receive the memo. Our discussion point, actually, you guys give a very distinct analysis on what you believe. But I think you went contrary to the discussion. We are not asking Mr. Cummings to show what he have done for the people and that will qualify him to run. No. So there was a press interview, a conference, or some kind of meeting today, Tumani George and Dr. Peabody, that the former rebel groups, combatants, and saying veterans, Martin Collett, Louis Brown, they were discussing and said these guys are supporting. They would tie off and rally, and they will be at the rally, especially the former combatants. And some names were called. Those guys that did some bad stuff, and the reason why some of those guys are on the street today. So is it a good thing for them to bring them in, for the Louis Brown and Martin Collard to bring them in to be part of this rally? It was the conversation, and if you say yes, Then we went back to the question as to Mr. Comey. Since 2015, you were in the country. You heard about the war, dude. You were MIA during the war. But when you returned 2015, you declare your intention to run for the highest office of the land. Seeing everything you have seen, knowing everything you know, what have you done for these folks on the street? What program have you created? What are some, like you said, Sintomani George, since 2015, it was my question to you before we move on. Fagon can come in. Sintomani, since 2015, what are some of the things that you can show and tell the librarians tonight that ANC, Mr. Cummings, have done to help with the rehabilitation process, to help this young man on the street? What are some of his alternative plans? Is he only waiting to be president? Can he do something like DeLong? Have he done something? Create even a one bedroom that will host 2 to 3 individuals and help rehabilitate them, call folks to help them with all the necessary treatment. So these were the questions we were asking Dr. Richardson, that we have not seen it, we don't know it. So what's the problem here? So Sintomani George, I'm not beating on Mr. Cummings that this will make him qualify to run, but since 2015, what have he done? He ran first on the promises, the platform. What is the platform, man? Help us. We want you to understand, and we play the
first
we want you to understand that, Judgy.
Yeah, first thing, let me address the first issue raised. A rally is different from a protest. So the rally, so whether the combatants are part of it, whether the former combatants, as far as I'm concerned, the United Nations demobilized and rehabilitated former combatants. They were disarmed and so forth. So by now, it was the previous government and government before that should have rehabilitated them into the society. So this, but because of the failure, they will call them Zogos today. Number one. Number two, during a rally, people make speeches. They just come and speak and talk. So it's not like people will be going to the street protesting. Like protesting is different. It's a rally. So people will be speaking. So if they want to speak, they'll get a platform with them. They will speak. They will talk. So that's, how a rally will go. It's not a protest where people are marching and showing slogan and so forth. So a rally, they will speak. Now, on the issue about that, I stand by my same position that it is not anybody who want to be president. It's not a responsibility of them to go and build clinics or build a center for people of people that we call Zogos today. They're not a responsibility. Now, Mr. Cummings, there are some things perhaps I think he's doing privately or personally that maybe only his team can talk about, because the Cummings African Foundation, they have taken upon several initiatives. Go on their website. They got a lot of stuff they have been doing over the years. At least he can stay with if the Cummings.
What are some of the things over the years? Can you name some? Sintomani George.
I have a list over here.
Hold on 1 minute, Dr. Richardson, please. Or maybe you
listen.
Sintomani. What are some of the things, Sintomani George, over the years?
I will tell you, we have done interventions in health, education, and other stuff, sanitation, and so forth over the years.
Tumani George, calm down. We are not arguing. Let's be
patient. Yeah, but I'm trying to say that.
Stuttering like that, it means that you push.
I'm not reading.
So what I'm saying to you, what are some of the things that you can point to since 2015 that Mr. Cummings?
But I just said
one. And my second question to you: what is in the Cummings plan for Zogos? Can you share with us? We gave you the time.
First of all, I'm not a spokesman for Cummings or the ANC or CPP. Number one, I'm an analyst who giving my own analysis of issues. So the thing is this:
you sound I can tell you, brother.
No, but the Cummings African Foundation, they have done a lot of stuff, a lot of interventions in health, education, sanitation, and so forth. And mind you, how many people who ran for president can tell you that they had a foundation at Cummings before running for president, that they did interventions through that foundation? How many can tell you? Past and present. How many can tell you? So that the Cummings people can address it. But I'm trying to tell you that Cummings have done interventions in areas that you can on the website. It will tell you all of that.
Let's restrict this to the Zogos, and we have to move on to the others. I beg you for 1 minute. Let's restrict this to the Zogos. Sintomani George, can you help Liberians tonight I know you are not Cummings spokesman. You are not the ANC spokesman. But can you help read that right? Help us. Since 2015, what is in the Cummings program for Zocos? And what specifically he has done? Say it if you know. Don't say you think it's there. Can you tell Liberians tonight?
But still no. I can direct to go on the website, on the Cummings Foundation website. It's there. The intervention there they have made over the years. What how Zocos are being impacted or so is there. I think it's a website. If our incapacity of an ANC or Cummings spokesperson, I'll be able to like name all the stuff they have done, but that's not my place to do it. Well, I can
What
tell you
is
that
within the
I don't think
Cummings
it's a fair
profile,
argument.
like for the
I mean,
alternative, for the alternative, that this is what Mr. Cummings would do for Zocos once he take over? Do you know anything? Can you share with Liberian tonight
as I
what
say again,
is in the
part
program?
of
Or I
his
should go on the
part of
website
his
again.
part is a vision. I mean, Cummings have had several interviews over the years, and they asked him
Okay.
questions of that nature, and he has explained even
All right.
for
Thank you,
that sector of the population. So,
Thank you, Georgie. Thank you. Eugene, before we go to Dr. Richardson real quick, brother.
Well, let me say to my brothers in Tomal and George, we love each other to death, and we will always try to help the Liberian people. But let's start by saying this. As a student of political science, that Liberians have come to know, every candidate, first and foremost, comes to the race with a platform that includes his or her records. The great America you live in, you know, everybody run on record. So I want to say to you and my brother here, the Liberian people, we have our own way of speaking our Liberian English. Instead of saying, what is your record, Liberian people say, what have you done for us? Because it's for the country, it's for Liberians. That's how we ask the question. Meaning, show us your record. It's the same thing. Our English should not fool anybody. All you guys live in America, what are Donald Trump man a record? Then the man can't tell you how he built an empire, how he did this, he did that, he did the other. What a Barack Obama man? He's a campaigner, he's a community organizer, he's a senator. Their records are there. So we cannot dismiss the fact when Liberian people say, what have you done for us? It's the same thing, and as a student of political science, if you don't put that on your paper, you will fail the course. The Liberian people always ask Cummings, what have you done? And I think Cummings does not understand the Liberian English. Because if he did, it would be based on his records. Now, let me say this. You touch on Elling, record is clear. Elling was out there in the international community lobbying for Liberia. Elling did a lot of things for Liberia in the international community. George Weah, you cannot deny the fact. He paid people school fee. He disarmed. He supported the national team. He even paid Liberia's fees to CAF when they couldn't pay it as a nation. He has done a lot for Liberia. Elling has done a lot. So when it comes to Cummings, I think you saw a list of the thing the other people did. They often ask Cummings, what have you done for us? I think the Cummings PR team, CEO, does a poor job. They will say the things that they know they will be questioned about. For example, everybody knows our Alexander Cummings school there. What did Yakula say the other day? The school was built by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola different from Cummings. Coca-Cola may have built the school under the Cummings Foundation, but the school was for Liberia. So they're not Cummings built it. That would be a different debate for another day. Okay, did Cummings allow Coca-Cola to turn the school over to Liberia? No. According to Dr. Yakula, she's not dead yet. Her family running the school. So that means Liberia ain't got nothing to do with the school. Okay, he said he would get 150 to fight COVID. And he would tell the Liberians how he gave it, what it was used for. I love Cummings to death. But Cummings have not managed to put together a sophisticated PR team. And nobody can sit on their platform and tell me that Cummings got a good PR team. That took a flat PR team Kumi get. Kumi's PR team should be able to do a brilliant job.
Fagana free agent.
You see a man again, CEO.
I'm watching the man. That Kumi on the agent. You best go.
Fagana free agent. So
yeah. So he came to do the man job when they ask him, they can say go to the website.
Go to the website. That website down again. Go to the website.
But let me finish on this note. It is based on Kumi's record that he would be elected. And not his Coca-Cola record, but his record in Liberia. And I'm sure he has done a significant amount of good job around the place. But let me tell you something right now. If you talk to any sound-minded politician, for me, I'm not sound-minded if you like. Take me anywhere you want to take me. Who is the face of the ANC right now? A, Louis Brown. B, Kumis. Give me the face of the ANC for the last 2 months. Louis Brown. It's like when George Weah was running with Tubman. Everywhere Tubman go, they put say, say, Mane, Chowia, Bora, they're not Chowia running, but Tubman. So when you take Louis Brown and put him in front of the party, we are discussing him. We are debating his actions. We are debating his decisions. We are questioning him. Kumis is getting lost in the background on a daily basis. What Kumis should be doing is what Louis Brown is doing. So it's Louis Brown we're discussing and his actions. And you know what that does for the candidate? It puts the candidate on the back burner, and not many people know about him. So Kumis will be questioned on his records. And the way that Liberian people do it is, what have you done for us? Then it will be like, I negotiated a school building that is catering to 300 or 400 students every year.
But Fagon, I will interrupt you and allow me to, because we got to go to Dr. Richardson.
Right.
But I will give you 30 seconds real quick.
Right.
We can go up and count down.
Now,
hold on, let me real quick. I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
Why would you want Mr. Cummings to say that? Yeah, that's cool. That is Dr. Richardson and the rest of them have celebrated, and they have.
No, Dr. Richardson, you say that school.
Hold on, brother. Hold on now. They have elevated Mr. Cummings. When you talk about that, that's the best STEM school Cummings have brought to the nation. Why were they so disingenuous? Why were they so, so bad in line to the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings ever owned a school? That he built a school. And thank God Kevin's down on the show, wherever he may be, may his soul rest in perpetual peace. But I will say this to you on the show tonight. My good brother Kevin is good. But I will say this to you tonight, man, if I go. Where are the Cummings? Where they took to themselves that glory to say that he built a STEM school for Liberians. How can the Liberian people trust a Cummings? Trust this very ANC. Knowing very well Coca-Cola built the school. How can they trust ANC to believe in themselves? Knowing very well Mr. Cummings or no school called STEM school in Liberia.
The utterances of Cummings supporters and some of his surrogates does not fully speak for him. He's a human being, he's not bobo, he can talk. He's not like our information ministry, they make him talk. They may not bobo. So why he's saying on the other side that through his instrumentality and his hard work and effort, his honesty and diligent service to Coca-Cola. If Cummings had not worked for Coca-Cola, if Cummings had not done what he did for Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola will come into base school for you. You can't see that factor in really. But we must be fair. Cummings supporters like to blow hot air. And it's one of those cases where they blew the hot air. But we're going to be looking at the candidate. The candidate was clear. It was through his instrumentality that the initiative was carried out. And now it is through his effort and support that the school continues to survive. An institution can build you a building, but who's going to pay the teachers? Who's going to bring the laptops? Who's going to take care of all those things?
We understand. We understand all of that, Fagon. But again, the point, Fagon. We are not saying. Fagon. It's message. Cummings didn't build a STEM school.
But Minus Cummings, would you have had a STEM school?
Fagon, I will answer you. I will answer that.
Give credit where credit. Minus Cummings, take Cummings.
Give credit why credit is due. Minus Cummings. You won't tell me that they couldn't have taken medication to Africa, to those countries, Sierra Leone, Guinea, minus Cummings? These people have this thing in the programs.
No.
Hold on, Fagon, stop. When last you visited the Coca-Cola website? The medication that is celebrated at Cummings to Buchanan, Fagon. Think.
I always visit.
Fagon, I know you guys sharing Coca-Cola, so you must do. But I will say this to you.
Allow me to tell you how it's done.
No. Yeah, but Fagon, slow down now. We got to move this thing around. Slow down. I will say this to you. The medication that was taken, Icarus Gray said it was expired drugs, but that's Icarus Gray. It wasn't only for Liberians. It were in different other countries.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because of Mr. Cummings that took it to Nigeria.
Okay.
It wasn't because of Mr. Cummings that took it to Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point I'm making. These people have this initiative. They have those programs. And thank God, Mr. Cummings, as a Liberian, he was there. But to say that Mr. Cummings built, and that's why Kev Hassan kept on pushing, to say that Mr. Cummings owned. But I don't want us to waste our time on this, Fagon. I want to come back to the fact that this rally, that now Mr. Lewis Brown have asked all former combatants to attend this rally. He is blowing the trumpet from Butuo to Sacre Plate to Ganta to Wanka and all over Liberia. And he called, I'm bringing you in, Mama. I'm bringing you in, Dr. Richardson. And he called them to come and attend the Retire Software rally. Who created them? LB, you did. Louis Brown, you created them. Who put them on the street? You, Louis Brown. Have you seen Louis Brown talking about rehabilitation? Come on, guys. This is not right. This is a scary time for our country. That Louis Brown can tell these folks to come up, that they can go do a protest. It's not right. But let's give the time to Dr. Richardson. I will mute myself and listen to my sister.
Thank you.
Very
mute yourself. Mute yourself
so
today.
much, because I sat down quietly and listened to all of you. You know, I kind of started this conversation by saying on this show, no matter what I say, what Mr. Cummings did or didn't do for Liberia, it's not going to satisfy the conversation. It's not going to satisfy the argument. But I have a list of things that Mr. Cummings have done for Liberia, and I will start with one that I was personally involved with. January 2020, the Cummings Africa Foundation ordered my expertise, my psychology expertise, to go and present for 2 weeks on people who suffered from sexual and gender-based violence in Liberia. I did a conference. I spoke at Musu Spot for 2 weeks, okay? And I spoke to different people in the community, judges, lawyers. There's an echo coming out of the thing. I don't know. Lawyers, keke drivers, just regular people. And the theme was talking about the effects of sexual and gender-based violence, the whole issue of power and control. After that, I had sessions with women and men who were violated during the war, okay? This was all paid for, lunch included. They had a selection process. They paid my way to Liberia to do this work, the Cummings Africa Foundation. This is just one out of so many things that they do in Liberia. After I left, I followed up. There's a couple of shelters in Liberia called One Stop, I believe. One Stop. Mrs. Cummings and her team took mattresses, beds, I have clippings of those, to people at the one-stop center in order to provide somewhere for these people to sleep. All right, these women who are violated to sleep. The Cummings Africa Foundation, one of its primary goals is to meet the less fortunate Liberians' needs in the country. They want to meet their needs. So I have a whole list, of things that I can provide for you. His donation to the Wyatt, his donation to universities, his donation to mosque, his donations to different organizations in the country, donating generators. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but I'm not so sure if this is going to suffice. And for those of you who say Mr. Cummings has not done anything for the country, no matter what we say, what we tell you guys, that's not the narrative you want to hear. Okay, you want to hear his family doesn't run the school. You want to hear he didn't do anything, and we've been saying this for years and years and years. And you would think the conversation would be about the people, our taxpayers, the people who are receiving donors to provide for Liberians, who have a contract with the Liberian people to provide services for them. This is what we should be talking about. But we're not. We're talking about someone who's running to be president of Liberia. We're asking, what have they done for the country? And we know he has done so many things. Secondly, would you rather, and this is the question I would like to ask Liberians, would you rather have someone in power right now that have access to your coffer, your money, and not providing services to you, versus someone who's running to be president of Liberia, providing, at least taking his own money to provide service for you? Who would you pick? Won't you pick the person who's not in charge right now, who is not even in the presidential seat, but yet and still this person is providing services to Liberian, ordering someone like me in the United States, paying for my service to go and do work in Liberia? Okay, versus somebody who has your coffer, your money, and we don't know what are they providing to people who are marginalized in our country. Liberian people, who would you pick? So let's elevate this conversation and go back to ask the question, what is George Manneh Weah and his leadership, his president, doing in our country right now for the ex-combatants, the Zogos, the people who are marginalized in the country? Lastly, I listened to Louis Brown, and let's play this tape since we have a full team. I didn't see Louis Brown saying, I'm going to bring people, I'm going to go to Botuo, I'm going to activate cells and all of that. So I didn't hear him say any of those things. He said, and if I heard him correctly, we were endorsed by concerned veterans. And that veteran group include ex-combatants, ex-servicemen, and some professionals. He named a list of, that's 3 I've listed already. They consist of different people. It's a rally. They're going to come. They're going to talk. And my question is to you, Liberia is a very complex country. We have our own ex-combatants living right in our midst. They're in our communities. We have markers in our country that can trigger trauma and other psychological impairments. Buildings that still got gun bullets holes in them in our country. And if you are prone to trauma, you will be traumatized just by looking at them. All right? They're still there. Nobody fixed those buildings. Nobody sent those people who were traumatized after the war to get complete rehabilitation. We did something based on what the donors provided for us, something very quick, but it was not thorough. It was not culture sensitive. It was not Liberian sensitive. And I can tell you because that's what I do for a living. And here we have our own heroes and terrorists in our midst, in our own country. And we have to deal with our own problem at this moment. Now, excluding these people, is that the way we're going to deal with them? I said no. It involves some kind of inclusion. And yes, Mr. Cummings, time after time, has provided some kind of help services. I have a long list. I'll put it in the chat room. And if you want me to read that list to you, I will do it. You'll say, oh, your argument will be like, oh, Mr. Cummings don't own the school. Oh, he runs the school. I mean, without Mr. Cummings, rightfully said, Mr. Fagon, there will be no school. There will be an empty building, just like we have empty hospitals and we can't have enough nurses and doctors. Just like you were here Mr. Witherspoon Stanton, you were talking about how empty the hospital is in Boobaloo because you need staff to run these things. So I want to close is let's stick to the people who have our money. Let's stick to the George Weah government and ask him, what is this government doing for the ex-combatants? What have they done? They've used them. We know that. I know there was a case with Mr. McGill using ex-combatant to attack somebody in another person, another Liberian. They've been used. We know that. So again, I'd rather take someone who is running for president, has been using all his money to bring change to our country, to offer services to people in our country, versus somebody who has our money and not doing anything about the ex-combatant or bringing services to our country. I respectfully submit.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thanks a lot. Dr. Richardson, let me ask you just one question. Chairman, welcome to the show.
I hold that question to add, Dr. Richardson. Who's supposed to do that job?
Dr. Richardson.
Who's supposed to do it?
Dr. Richardson, let me ask you a question, man. Why Mr. Cummings running again for the highest office in the land? Why is he running? Let's stick with the Zocos issue. Why he want to become a president? Were you talking about Zocos?
In as much as I support and follow Mr. Cummings, I think he would be wise to answer that question versus me answering it. However,
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. So, folks, let me say this real quick.
I will tell you that
you say he should answer the question.
Well, I will tell you.
Okay. Are you answering the question? Are you answering the question? Are you referring me to Mr. Cummings?
How we run? How your moderator show you for us today?
Are you answering the question? Or are you referring me to Mr. Cummings?
That is part of my question. I wasn't done yet.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. So, in as much I'm not Mr. Cummings asking what motivates him to run, I will also insinuate that as a Liberian citizen, everyone have the constitutional right and entitlement to run. Everyone's entitled to run. So that's the answer to the question.
Dr. Richardson, thank you. You're a lifelong supporter of Mr. Cummings. And you cannot tell the Liberian people tonight why Mr. Cummings running to become president.
That was not
your question. My case. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I gotta move on that. Ma'am, excuse me. I beg for you. Dr. Richardson will come back. We'll come back to you.
No.
So let me bring in. The reason why, listen.
We're not going to hang that on me. We're not going to hang that and let it go. You asked me why was Mr. Cummings running, and I told you I don't know the answer because I'm not Mr. Cummings. But if you ask me as a lifelong supporter, why am I supporting Mr. Cummings, and you give me the opportunity to answer, I would definitely spend more than 2 hours doing that. Is that what you want us to do tonight?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. But then don't.
My question was, why Mr. Cummings running to be president for Liberia? Why? And you said I should ask Mr. Cummings. It's on tape. It is loud. Everyone can hear it. My question, why Mr. Cummings want to be president for Liberia? You say, ask Mr. Cummings. You're a lifelong supporter of Mr. Cummings, and you do not know why Mr. Cummings running.
Those
we're talking about. Hold on 1 minute now. Hold on 1 minute, man. When you finish, let me finish now. When you finish, let me finish. I beg you. And the issue is that Mr. Cummings himself doesn't know why he's running.
That is not true.
When you talk about, hold on now, I beg you, Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, but I must finish though. I must finish, please.
No, that's not true.
Okay, I'm begging you. Let me finish. And the issue is that exactly how most Liberians feel. That's why when you ask them, who will you vote for in the 3-person race, Mr. Cummings' name is not mentioned because of the reason why you yourself don't know why you've been supporting Mr. Cummings and why he running to be president. But I will move on. No, Dr. Richardson. No, Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, no, I will move on. So then, no, Dr. Richardson will come back to you. Dr. Richardson will come back. Dr. Richardson will come back to you. Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson. I'm moderating tomorrow.
No,
Do the
but
same thing
that's
to me.
already. You can't just pin something on me.
Dr.
didn't
Richardson, I
ask me.
beg you. Dr. Richardson, I beg you.
Listen, you didn't
Sintumani
ask me
George,
why I support
Dr.
Mr.
Peabody,
I
Chairman
support
Ben
Mr.
Servi.
Cummings because Mr. Cummings
No, I'm not
is
asking
a
why you
better
supported
candidate
Mr. Cummings.
than
It
George
wasn't my
Yap,
question.
than Joseph
Dr.
Boca.
Richardson, it wasn't my question. I am not saying why you support Mr. Cummings. I am saying why Mr. Cummings wanted to be president. You don't know the answer. It's different from why you supported Mr. Cummings.
Well,
You don't know the answer why Mr. Cummings wanted to be
running.
president.
That's not true.
Okay,
That is
Chairman,
not
let me bring you in real quick.
That is
Dr.
not
Richardson,
true.
I beg to move on. I beg you to move on. Let me bring in, because if we don't bring Chairman Ben Servi in, he will leave again for another 3
No, I
weeks.
actually told,
So we should be very careful.
Ben, if you ask Ben, you allow me to speak. You allow me.
What Dr. Richardson said was
No, Ben, yes, my issue. I didn't ask Dr. Richardson why she's supporting Cummings. You heard my question. Why Mr. Cummings running to be president of Liberia? That's my question. And she said, go and ask Mr. Cummings, right? You was on the show when I asked my question. So it's very fair not to go back again. No, after 3 times,
I think it's only fair if she wants to take another stab at it. I think
after 3 times, she has no answer as to why Mr. Cummings running.
The question you
And
asked
we'll
me
go
is
on.
something that it's a personal question that I believe Mr. Cummings can answer. Then you kind of twisted it around. You twisted it around. Mr. Cummings running. No, you twisted it around. Said you don't even know why Mr.
So
Cummings.
I understand where Dr. Richardson is coming from, Stanton. You're trying to put her in a hard zone.
Yeah, I do.
Leave Fago alone, man. Leave Fago alone.
And I don't think it's fair. You're trying to put her in a hard zone.
No, I'm not. I asked the question for a lot of Liberians to understand.
Of course. And you're trying to create the impression that she doesn't know why he's running.
Who's running to be president?
But listen though. Let's face it, Chairman. Let me ask you, why Bernstein did everything he was doing to be president for Liberia? You would give me an answer.
Yeah.
Because you served with Chairman. You served with him. You went as far as to be his right-hand man as chairman of Liberty Party. In no few seconds, you can give me hundreds of paragraphs. While Bronskyn put his left on his line to run for president. My question to this good doctor, Dr. Richardson, why Mr. Cummings running to be president? If she cannot answer, a lot of millions of Liberians out there cannot answer. Mr. Cummings himself cannot answer why he's running.
Let me say this. In all fairness, let me say this. I have heard, and I think what Dr. Richardson was trying to allude to the fact that he's the candidate. No, I know, but let me just say what I want to say. No, let me say what I want to say. I think she was alluding to the fact that he's the candidate, so he should be able to say why he's running. But I will say this.
But then we will go into a Fagon argument that they have nobody to push.
Yeah, but let me say this, Stanton, and I will state for the record, I have heard him say that he's running for president because he believes the presidency is the only job that he can get an opportunity to impact all 5 or how many more Liberians that we will know when the census is completed, right? So I think, and I understand where Dr. Richardson is coming from, because you know you're very good at doing what you do. You're trying to put her in a hard zone, and I think she was trying to get you to get her from that hard zone. But
so you saving her back.
So my answer to that is I would take Cummings by his word that he's running for president because he believes that is the only job on the face of this earth where he will have the opportunity to impact the lives of every single Liberian.
If you answer the question that way, Chairman Ben, and we get that to Peabody, Sintumani George, I would say this to you: these guys have had a great time last night, man. You're too far to enjoy what these guys are enjoying. They have fun last night. Peabody, am I kidding? Sintumani, you left with what? You was real charged and satisfied. Sintumani George, are you with us? Georgie, I mean, what kind of internet guy got today, so?
Yeah, okay. Man, that's big man.
But I do want to say something though.
Go ahead.
First of all, it's good to be on.
I mean, how was the exam? Have you taken the exam?
No, I haven't.
Because we're still waiting for you to finish the exam for you to come back.
You have to go to the class. It's a class that you go to.
I understand, but the exam taking you away. I've never
No,
seen
no,
that.
I'm gonna do my best to try to balance things off moving forward.
We understand.
But let me
man.
say this: I heard you earlier, and I want to respectfully disagree with you on a couple of points. And that, for the record, that's not why I came on. I didn't come.
That's why you came on. They say
I
your
didn't
text
come on to
message.
this- I
They say
didn't
your
come on to
text message
disagree.
to kind of help that to Richard.
I think I want to put
But you know what, Ben? I will tell you, they made a mistake and sent me the same text message. I said, no, this one for Ben. It's not for. It's not.
Whatever.
For
Nobody saying you don't
so
take
they
message.
sent you
Nobody
the
saying
same
you don't take
message. I
message.
said it was.
This is what you try to
It's not
do.
They brought you on. They brought you on.
This is
Let's
what
go
you
talk to her.
typically try to do. What you try to spin it. So I'm not
How
going
can I
to.
want exam Ben taking almost going to 2 months?
I'm
now?
not
2
going
months.
to.
What
I
is
don't know
that?
2 months. Whatever. You just leave me alone. Don't put me in. Well, let me state for the record, I disagree with you on a couple of things that you said, Stanton. One, when you alluded to the fact that you said Louis Brown is bringing people from Butuo and blah, blah, blah. Look, Stanton, you agree? Let me ask you a question. You agree? And I'm not asking, it's a hypothetical question, so don't interrupt.
I want to
me.
answer it, man.
No, don't interrupt me. But let me say this. You agree that it is the right, the Constitution. We all sat on this show, and I've been following the repeat of the shows in the past. We all sat on this show and said that it is the constitutional right of these Liberians to be able to assemble, to peacefully rally, and to petition the government for whatever concerns they have. If you do agree with that, I also want to state emphatically here that ex-combatants are Liberians, regardless of the fact that they are labeled as ex-combatants or people who fought the war. They too are Liberians. They have voting rights, right? So if they have an opportunity, if they can be asked to join in a rally, I don't think anything is wrong with that. So I think it's a little dangerous when we try to create an impression like, oh, he's bringing war people or he's trying to do that. I think at the end of the day is that we all need to admonish the leadership of this rally, right? Those who are organizing this rally, to make sure that it is peaceful, that it has the opportunity for the people's voices to be heard, and to remind them that where their right ends is where the other people's rights begin. So I thought.
Can I just speak to that real quick?
Yeah, one second, then you come on. Then let me get going. The second thing I disagree with you on the notion, I agree with what everybody else.
Let's take it one at a time now, before you know.
No, but Stanton, let me finish. I haven't been on the show for a long time.
Let me answer the first one.
Answer it. Then I will come to the second one.
I know. They take it. The more the Liberian people to understand. Chairman Ben.
Yeah.
When we went back, the initial announcement was given by Louis Brown.
Yeah.
That was wrong. Louis Brown have become the face of this Retire Suffering rally. That was wrong. Louis Brown, first of all, said this is an opposition rally. That was wrong. Louis Brown said, we'll be reaching out to UP, to ALP, and the rest of the opposition political party. They have not. That was wrong. You have Tewan Ganglo, Henry Pedro Costa, Banda USA, Nothing Youngblood. They are all distancing themselves. And most importantly, Saturday we heard that probably Musa Bility will not attend this rally. If all remains as it is, if this thing is true, this rally have become a Louis Brown rally. Not even a CPP or half a CPP rally. This rally have turned to be a Louis Brown rally. Let's go back in history. Louis Brown, former National Security Advisor to Charles Taylor. Louis Brown served in the NPP, NPFL days. Today, that Louis Brown is supposed to tell us about bringing former combatant. You know how that sounds? Chairman Ben Senvi? Today, that Louis Brown also tell us is that we are thinking when we were in North Panton Harden, when the bullets were flying, and Louis Brown then were galvanizing the troop to say, yes, the boys are back to town. That's what people are saying. Louis Brown is calling them from Butuo. Louis Brown is asking them to come back to life, to move ahead and support. This should be a Retire Suffering rally for all oppositions.
Mm-hmm.
The faces of the rally should be the people, not Louis Brown and his former combatants. Okay. Then I asked the question, Chairman Ben, Where was Louis Brown in the rehabilitation process of these guys?
Okay.
That now he wants to use them again and dump them? Man, don't get me started. This is where I am.
So let me
It's scary, man. It's scary.
Let me say this. So let me disagree with you again. And I think this is a very a healthy conversation. One, there's nothing wrong, absolutely. First of all, there was nothing wrong with politicians in the past asking ex-combatants for their support. By the way, the current government came to power on the backs of these very young people because they saw the CDC as a vehicle for them to be able to channel their grievances, for them to be able to say, you know what, we have one of us in play, right? So there's nothing wrong with that.
So are you saying that you are now mastering the Chasteda image?
Let me
resurrect and bring. No, Ben. This is very important question you need to answer now. Because Ben, Chairman, I got to jam you on this one now because we got to move for my brother. Is Louis Brown now being that new Chasteda calling on the truth? Is that how he projecting himself now?
Okay, so can I answer now?
Yeah,
First of all, I got a chance to listen to the press conference. I didn't hear him mustering troops. I heard them making announcements of various organizations or people or group of persons who would like to form a part of this rally, which I think is well within the right. Jihad, they got people who are distancing themselves. Jihad, they got people who are saying we don't want to support it because we think this is about Louis Brown, which is their constitutional right, and I support those people right also. I also support the rights of other people, whether ex-combatants or not, being a part of a rally to say we tire suffering. Now, this notion, and I repeat, this issue of ex-combatants in Liberia is a stain on the nation's collective conscience. We have to deal with it. I agree with you 100% that the quicker we deal with this problem, the better off we will be. That is the reason why I have stated consistently over and over that one of the greatest injustices and one of the greatest soul that is on President Weah's foot today, not because he caused ex-combatants. He's not the one that created ex-combatants, but because he ran on a platform that said, I will take care of you guys. If these things would have happened, we would not be having this conversation. So until we can deal with this symptom, we cannot continue to see them as, oh, they don't have a right to participate.
No, we are not saying that.
No, but when you make the statement, that Louis Brown is calling for,
yes, my argument. Ben Sembi, yes, my argument. My argument, and we'll move on today. And my argument is that, listen, you didn't help them. You left them where they were. What have Louis Brown done for those folks? Man, chill. What have Louis Brown, say he's the face of this rally, what have he done for those Zergos? He created them. His political leader created them. The war created them. Louis Brown created those people we call Zergos today. What have he done for them? What have he put in place to help them? When you talk about rehabilitation in its fullness, nothing.
Yeah, but
now you are no ban. But now you are calling now that they should come and rally around you. You know what I remind me of? Hey man, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, but
that's a very dangerous place we are in.
Forgive me, and this is going to be my
last. Yeah, we got to go, Ben.
We have to move forward.
Yeah, make your point.
Again, like I said, I think the train of thought you are taking or the line that you are taking is a little dangerous. The reason I say that is because of this. These people, these young men and women who are victims of our history, not because they chose. Some of them were conscripted when they were kids. They are Liberians. No one questioned any other political leader or political party. The ex-combatant community is a huge constituency in Liberia, a huge one.
And they need to be taken care of, Chairman. They need to be taken care of.
My issue, and that's my point, and I don't disagree with you on that. I stand with you on that 100%.
that we need a collective national agenda to deal with this issue. And it is extended on all of us, me included, everybody who have had some kind of voice in Liberia at some level. This is a problem that needs to be solved. But for us to say until we solve this problem, they don't have a voice, that is where
no. So nobody's saying they do not. They do have one. They are all Liberians like every one of us.
So then there should be nothing wrong with them. There should be nothing wrong with them wanting to join.
People should answer the question as to what have you done for them.
And I think it's a fair question.
Thank you.
And I think it's a fair question.
Because
and I
they
think
have
it's a
not
fair
done a
question.
shot for them. But I can guarantee every Liberian out there, they will use them and dump them, and they will ride on their votes and their frustration and their life, that they want to drive past them and see them and leave them where they are. Louis Ryan shall now become the face of this protest. He is calling the troop, wherever they are, to come as they are, to march against this protest. When the real people say, and it's bad.
That's another
but,
issue. That's another argument, right?
Yeah,
Whether he should be the face or not,
yeah.
I think it is a fair conversation. It's a fair statement. It's a fair argument to make.
But I think Louis Wright is proving the point when people say he shouldn't have been the face of this thing. I think he's proving that argument. But let's go ahead. Fagon, from your playboats in Tumani George, from your era where you said Dr. Peabody, the peaceful, quiet Dr. Peabody, let's talk about other national issues. Since we passed this, I have the clip, but I read.
No, can I get 30 seconds on this subject? Point of information.
Yes, sir. Please do.
You know, I don't see one political institution that is not carrying an ex-combatant. You know who an ex-combatant is? Someone who has been involved with combat. Prince Johnson is an ex-combatant.
True.
And he supports George Weah. Why you can call about the ANC man, ex-combatant. You want to go to all the other people? Everybody got a fair share. Okay? Nobody is going to say my hands are clean. But this point I want to make is when Dr. Francine said, I think I heard a story that McGill sent ex-combatants. Yeah, it was actually a spider story because we don't know the ex-combatants that he sent. We don't know their names. And up to today, no Liberian politician or a group of Liberian supporters belonging to a particular party can say we were the ones that McGill sent the people to kill or to beat or to harm. This was part of one of the concocted lies that went to the Americans. And I'm saying it to them if they're listening. But instead of them asking who were the combatants, who's the individual that was being sought after, today it remains a mystery. Just like people sat on this same platform and said that Eugene Fagon was divisive. But like Ben said, and I'm closing 10 seconds, he that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. I'm looking for the people, including my own party. Kai Fale, the superintendent of Grand G.
Exactly.
The man indicted with the TRC. I said, you know, I should name all of them. That means so be naming people here at my church. We just need to come together and find solutions to our problem, CEO. Everybody gets some kind of mumu behind it. It's the fact. Thank you.
Eugene Lamin Fagon, a man from all political party.
Yeah, you know, Tomani Kinto support the team. You get a man harder than man saying to website. Me, I say go to website. I say the man try.
Brother, we will move on. Let's talk about the other issue, man. I don't know how serious is this, but it is becoming to be an issue, and I think we'll save this story for another day. If you guys want us to brush on this, let's do. The president having his town hall program tomorrow. What's your expectation? First of all, let's address this. Is this a town hall for all Liberians? Or is this a town hall just for the CDC base? Dr. Richardson, let's start with you. You're our dear sister on the show, and we can move around very quick.
I want to start by saying I do not know much about the town hall. I didn't see any publication on it. Um, but if the president of Liberia is coming to speak in Washington, D.C., or even in the United States, I believe it should be open. In fact, it should be open to all Liberians to have an opportunity to engage the president. But if that is not what is happening, if this is only for CDC members, I think that it is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable governance or leadership practice. So that's my view on it.
The next question, and I will ask everybody the same thing. Why it just seemed like Dr. Richardson, sorry, I should have finished up, but it just seemed that a CDC town hall instead of all Liberian like would be hosted by ULI. Or we can also say, what's the expectation now if the president will attend this town hall? What you, Dr. Richardson, what you think you're gonna? What's your expectation?
Well, the Liberians have a lot of questions. I mean, to ask the president. I mean, if I was there, I would like to know about the race crisis in Liberia. I would like to know about the census. I would like to know about legis. I would like to know about the dual citizenship, biometrics. So those are all topics that we've been hearing about lately that I think the president needs to respond to. He has not spoken about these issues. So that would be my expectation, that he will respond to those topics.
Thank you. Dr. Peabody. The president town hall is not hosted by ULI, no Liberia independent organization. Folks are saying it's a sedition organization. The same folks that hosted the first program in New York, they are the one hosting this town hall, all sedition. But now they say it's open to the public. After the Minister Fagon posted something, I didn't see what he posted on Facebook. They revised their outline and say it's open to the public. Shouldn't this be like, if you say President George Manawe, the president for all Liberia, why only sedition organizing this town hall? And what would be your expectation? I haven't seen that the president will be there, if he will be there tomorrow.
Well, I will ask this: why didn't ULI organize a town hall meeting? So the president coming, want to organize a town hall meeting to invite the president to come, you know. But what I would say, I read the flyer. It said that diaspora Liberia, and I hope that they will live to what they published. They're inviting all the Liberians around the DC or in the US to be there. I hope it doesn't change tomorrow when they go there and say, hey, it's only CDC. Because I know that CDC have a lot of support in the US when they are having the program, the partisan gather like New York. A lot of them were there as well. But I hope it doesn't change tomorrow. It's a Liberian, and I hope the president make it. I believe he will go. It would not be a good thing for him not to show up, especially in DC, where you have a lot more Liberians in the Maryland belt and the Washington DC area. I think it will be a good thing for him too, because he has never had a town hall meeting with a large group of Liberians. So I think it will be good for him as well. I mean, you know, I'm not sure when the last time the president came to DC and met with the diaspora Liberian. I'm not sure. I think it will be one of the first of his kind. So I think it'll be a good thing that he attend, and it'll be good for all Liberians. Don't make this a partisan thing, because he's the president of Liberia, not president of the CDC party. So it'll be a good thing for him to attend. He attend.
Now let me ask Chairman Ben. The town hall issue here, man. Who hosting? Do you have any idea who hosting the town hall? Do you have any idea the time frame, one way it start, one way it finish? You have anything you can share with folks tonight? Why Liberians, biggest organization, ULI, Liberian journalists in America, why are they, some of them not involved? What this is only limited to sedition organizers?
So I want to, let me say, first of all, I hope it's not a town hall that is only limited to seditions. I think in the interest of who he is, he's the president of the country. I think that there's nothing wrong with him having a separate event with his supporters. I think every president has a right to do that, where you come and you meet your supporters and you get a chance to interact with them. But I definitely believe that having been president for 5 years, and President Weah has not had any major engagement with the diaspora in person, outside of the fact that maybe I think when people go back home, and then even with that, some of those meetings have been really supportive of his, right? I think this is an opportunity. And if I was in the government circle, if I was advising the president, I will say, open this thing, get a chance to hear from the people. Some of them will be uncomfortable, but listen, I don't think, being president is a comfortable and an uncomfortable job, right? Because you're president for everybody, president for people who support you, and you're president for people who don't support you. On the question of whether I know of anything, no, I don't. The only thing I've heard, I got a call today from someone close to the president asking if we were coming, if Spohn were coming, and I said, well, I know I wasn't coming, and I know we're going to have a conversation. If there was going to be any representation from the network, I don't know. But the reason I say that is because I agree with what Dr. Peabody said. You don't want this to turn into a CDC affair. I think you want to make sure that you get Liberians from all walks of life the opportunity to come and interact with you. Let it be a massive town hall. I see other presidents when they come here, they do that all the time. The Ghanaian president, the Kenyan president, all of them come and they engage their people. So I think if they don't do that, if they narrow this down to just a CDC town hall, I think it will be a missed opportunity for the president, because you never know what. Look, say and I will end on this note. Say what you want to say. George Manneh Weah is the president of Liberia. Whether you agree with him or not, there is an aura of the presidency. I don't think anybody is going to walk in that hall with the intention of being disrespectful to the president. They may ask you tough questions. They may ask you pointed questions that may make you uncomfortable, but there's a thin line between asking tough questions and being disrespectful. So I think if their concern is trying to protect the president from hostility, I don't think that should be the concern. I think they should be able to open it up, let people go and engage the president, and you never know, he may be able to allay some of the concerns and answer some of the questions that people will have. So I'm only hoping that as they start to move the needle on it a little bit, that they're able to open it up to a broader spectrum of our diaspora and our society.
So let me ask. Oh, thank you very much, Ben. Like you said, I don't know who reached out to you. We can say on this show that no one reached out to us officially, even telling us about this. I heard this yesterday while I was at the mall. And somebody texted me and said, "Oh, personal, we will be doing X, Y, and Z." I don't think even know what our brother Kev Hassan was informed. I don't know, but St. Martin George, like what Peabody, Dr. Richardson, and Ben just said, man, what's this town hall? Folks are saying it's only limited to sedition in the sense that they organize it. Are you aware of anyone outside of CDC being part of this organizing team?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I'm disappointed in the leadership of ULA. In the past, during the years of President Tolbert, Doe, Salif, when they visited the U.S., the ULA leadership will organize events of this nature so that the president can engage Liberians in the U.S. and especially in the U.S. and Canada. But the ULA leadership should have taken advantage of this opportunity to liaise with the president to be part of any, or even they should even call for their own town hall event with the president. That's what leadership would do. But I'm disappointed that they are not being. I'm not seeing any fingerprint of them on this town event. My understanding is that the event is organized by the Palava Hall Democracy Forum, a pro-Liberian group from diverse group of Liberians across the U.S. and Canada. They organized this event, and I even further informed that the president I think he encouraged this event, and that he's making adjustment in his schedule to accommodate this event tomorrow. And also the president says that I'm understanding also that since he arrived, he's been reaching out to some of his critics and all, just to engage them. So I think he's looking forward to this event tomorrow, and it's not a CDC event as people are thinking. It was that because it was what happened in New York. But as I tried to dig deeper, I found out that it's open to all areas, and people are working together to organize it, and more information will come up by tonight or tomorrow morning. It'll be with the event and so forth. But I think it's a good thing. The president to Indara, and like Ben said, no matter how you may not be a fan of this president, or you may not support him, but I don't think anyone will go into that hall and insult the president. Also, ask questions, and if he should be there to answer the question. So I think people should be encouraged to go, especially those who should go there to engage him instead of just dismissing it. If you're in the era, go there and engage him, and it'll be open to the public, and the world will be watching. So I think it'll be a good time to go to engage the president. But it's not a CDC organized event.
Let me ask you a question again. And I'm sorry, Sintomade. Let me ask you. Who are you? I want you to be a little bit loud. Be louder a little bit. Who organized this event? Do you have names? Do you have the folks that actually get their pen and paper together for this event? If you say it's not CDC, are they independent organization group year that we can reach out to? Let's say they put this event together. Did the government of Liberia pay? Did the government of Liberia pay anyone down towards this event?
No, and that's my knowledge. The government pay anyone, but what I'm told is that the information I got is the Alcohol Democracy Forum, pro-Liberian group that organized it, and they're the ones who are behind it. So, as I said, I was told that they will be having more information about night and before tomorrow.
So you want to tell me at the end of
the
event is scheduled for tomorrow, right? Do you know what time?
So the president will be speaking. I think after his event at the with the African leaders and President Biden, I think then he will be proceeding to the event.
But do you know what time is the event? What time is starting tomorrow? The time.
Well, they are still.
I see Glenda saying 3 p.m.
Oh no. There's something we're going towards because let me say this.
The person that giving me information is telling me that they said they will have information to me after the show. Will have information to me. But yeah.
So thank you very much. Let me say this to you. Let me go to you. You see, that's the reason why this event is having a bad turnaround, because Erickson Tumon and George, they try to justify that this is not a CDC event. He himself doesn't know the time, and now he got to wait till after the show. So imagine if Tumon got to drive from Pennsylvania to Washington D.C., he won't even know till after the show before he start making preparation. Let me bring in my dear brother, Honorable Fagon. Fagon, what's going on? Why is this turning to be a mess? What was lacking? Who organized this event?
Well, first of all, let me say to my dear, lovely brother, my own confidant, the man who wants us to be rolling every night, Tomalin George. You see, Sir Tomalin, when you say I'm disappointed in ULA, then at the end of your statement, you say, because you have not heard anything from them, you don't know why they didn't do it, then that means you have no information on whether they tried and were not given the chance, on whether they made the effort and they were kicked out. You don't know how you will be disappointed in them. Here is my personal experience. The current president of ULA will tell you, I was sitting in the car with the fiance of Josephine Davis when I got a call from an individual who said, ULA has been chasing the government to come here, install the officer, or to engage with them. It was about 10 days to that event that you saw McGill attended. And they had made frantic efforts to get the government to come to the table with them, to work with them, to no avail. They had invited McGill. And I hope you will call the ULA people to verify what I'm telling you. And the only man they could turn to was McGill's friend, Eugene Fagon. So I told them, I said, I don't take decision for McGill. But I will do everything because I think it's in the interest of the CDC and the government. And I will not be stupid to let you guys pass by after 4 years. This is an opportunity we will not lose. And when Sheila came, he said, everybody has tried. But if you say you can try, we'll leave it up to you. I leave you to send your investigators or your journalists. Within 3 days' time, I got back to him and said, McGill will be here. And McGill was here. We did everything. What you see, they say the Palawa Hut. Who doesn't know that Prince Sherry does the Palawa Hut thing for Facebook? Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know that Gilmer, Prince Johnson, all of them put this thing together? This is where you sit down, you say, some mumu man them, they're around the president. Mumu man, you are coming to the United States, and you know the president coming, and there are 50 states here. The state of Tennessee alone is about the size of Liberia. That opportunity to engage with EULA and ask them to bring the Liberian people together. So the Liberian president, for the first time in his whole life, will have the opportunity as a president to address the Liberian people with the delegates from all 50 states and have the opportunity to engage with EULA that have punctured his political lungs over and over, and have the opportunity to have my friends who don't like me, called the Association of Liberian Journalists, to moderate the forum. You don't do it. You bring Mumu Man them. How will you, and I'm not saying Prince that Mumu Man, I'm not saying Gilmore that Mumu Man, that my partisans and my brothers, but people around the president don't have vision. They lack ingenuity, innovation, constructive and critical thinking. They just around him to drink liquor whole day, and some of them smoking cigars. This, now, I told you, CEO, I was going to throw a monkey wrench. And when I did yesterday, they manufacture it for diaspora Liberia. Up to now, no time. They went again, they changed the first venue to the second venue, which I sent you today, talking about 10 o'clock in the morning. Then they said people will gather 6 on the other side in the morning. How will you beat the traffic to come to the other side? A whole mess. Okay? Let me say this. There is a reason why a leader will encourage smart people around him, even if he doesn't like them. Even if he doesn't like them. This should have been in no way a Palawa Hut a presentation or event. It should have been organized by EULA. It should have been moderated by the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas. And it should have had the taste of incorporating Liberians from all spectrum and walks of life. But here we are now. Even if this the biggest platform in the country, Costa would say he had the biggest. And he the one came here 3 days ago and said this is the biggest. They were not contacted. They've not been engaged. They don't even know whether they will be there to provide coverage for the Liberian people. Is this a town hall meeting or a party event? I don't know in closing what goes through the head of my people, but this was an opportunity, like Ben said, to engage with your people in the diaspora. Make your case to them before coming back next year around June to play some kind of football match with them. But Stanton, some people around the president are mumu man them. It's the new careful word. Mumu man. They plenty around the president. And I hope the sooner they get sense to understand real politics, the better it will be for them. As for President Weah, you are coming. This was an opportunity to make your case. But even the biggest platform you don't have. People who are supposed to cover it, you don't have. Why, as president, you can't ask the question, do we have the umbrella organization of Liberians in America? Are they the ones staging this? Who's staging it? If all of you here sitting down, Dr. Peabody, Dr. Francine Chinonwe, and you CEO, all of you say you're not going, you know what that means for that program? It means a lot. Just your alone right here, it means a lot. As for me, I am going and not going. You see me when you see me. I choose to because I live in a free country. But I'm not sure, and I am sure. Either ways, you will see me when you see me. If you don't see me, you don't see me. But I think it was a mess. It is a mess, and up to now, it's still a mess. Thank you.
Let me bring it, Chairman Ben. Chairman, what you just heard from Fagon, and and to say the truth though,
yeah,
this is concerning not because of SPON, but because of Liberians and all these Americans. It is important for us to understand that President George Manawia is the president of all Liberians. The Republic of Liberia. He's the president. How can they narrow his town hall meeting today? And imagine, a year before election year, they have narrowed the president down. But talk to us, Chairman.
And I repeat what I said. I 100% agree with what Minister Fagon stated. I think this will, if listen, they can stay savage this thing. The president is here for a few more days. This is not, the house hasn't burned down to the ground. I think it will be a huge missed opportunity.
But then people took off work now. Don't forget.
You're
teach the data how it
you are absolutely right.
Or you can still just take it and chunk it in.
Exactly.
Because they were going.
Let me say, let me give that.
And say, Aja, you'll take over the body.
Exactly.
Yeah, but hold on, Fagon, I beg you, Ben. Let me hold you right there because some kind of information came in, which is important. Let me ask the question first. Ben, maybe because I do not want to break this news. Fagon, you serve as former deputy information minister. You serve in a position. Do you think the government contributed anything towards this event? Before I give this information, I want to ask you. You are muted, Fagon.
I am reliably informed. As I said to you, the whole trip of McGill, don't just call the president of ULA, the secretary general, and the whole leadership. Say, what role did Fagon play in getting McGill here and the importance of that? That's it. I'll leave my case there. But I am reliably informed that this whole gathering, 100K was put together for it. Transportation, hall rental, everything included. Set and this and that, everything. In 100K. 100.
Let me hold you there. I do not want to read this, what I just received. But there's a confirmation. So then how can one tell us this is not a CDC event? And this is about all Liberia. I wish. Chairman, come in, Chairman.
Yeah.
Look, now you know that money. You know that money was not money was moved around now.
Supposed to get my back, but she can let you pass. I don't know why.
Let me say this. I'll say this. There's nothing wrong with them organizing the CDC event. I have no issues with that. Like I say, that's his political constituency. That's his party. But the thing that we're talking about here tonight is a national level. The Liberian embassy should have been in the forefront organizing something like this. Like Fagon said, the association. In fact, the main reason why Aja should be doing it is because of how critical Aja has been to the government. Fagon is they're no fan of Fagon. I've seen many sparrings between them. But
cartoon pusher, man.
I beg you. but I think, look, when you're a leader, when you're the president, and I'll cut him some slack here because I think his handlers has a lot more to do with this than only him, because the president is managed. That is what the job is. You have handlers, you have people who manage you, and then in the end, ultimately, it's your decision because you can make the determination, right? I think Fagon struck a very sound point when he said, I think there was a shortage of innovation here, right? There was a huge shortage of innovation, a huge opportunity for President Weah to stand before Liberians in the diaspora and say to them, ask me your questions. Let's have a conversation. You guys have been tough on me. I want to engage you. And guess what? I want this to be a new beginning. I want us to turn a new leaf. That, you know what? We may be 5 years late. We may be 5 years late, but it's better late than never, right? I think, and then going into an election, I've always stated that George Weah is his greatest salesperson. For some reason, I don't understand why his handlers don't take advantage of that. No, Liberians don't anticipate that George Weah is going to be speaking all the English in the world. They don't. They anticipate that he's going to come and he's going to communicate and he's going to say it the way how he knows how to say it. But I think in an effort or in an attempt to shield the president away from hostility or would-be hostility that they may think will be, I think this is what's causing the problem. And I don't believe, I repeat what I said before, the presidency is an institution. That job has an aura. If you have worked with presidents before, that person can be, you can make a child president today. When that child takes the oath, there's an aura around that person that demands respect, that requires you, even if you disagree, when you sit in front of them, you get a chance to interact with them and you give them respect and you do it diligently, right? So I think the president, they can still salvage this if they're listening. You can still make some late phone calls, get Alja involved, get the EULA people involved. In fact, heck, call them. Say, I understand you're trying to reach us. Listen, what can we do right now? You can push the time out to 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. No curfew in America. There's electricity here.
Yeah,
You
but
can push
Ben,
it to 8 o'clock tomorrow.
but Ben, how many times we will sing this song, Ben? Why should we repeat the song? I don't know how to sing. That the people sing better than I do. But why should we do this so often? Can you imagine Kev Hassan on the Spoon Talk? And he didn't know. He never
The man
had
to the hotel
information.
in Carl Greens.
Can you imagine that we all sit on the show tonight? We just don't know exactly what's going on. This, but Dr. Richardson, now we're gonna move on and open the phone line.
Oh, you put
I
Kevin
just
in
thought-
a bad book. Kev knew about this thing. He sent the flyer yesterday. So Kev knew. Don't put Kev in a bad book. Put Kev as now.
No, because I don't know. Kev didn't tell me. I really don't know. I
Look,
would sit
let me
there
tell you
and
something.
say, I
Before you
really-
open the
I
phone line,
didn't know.
quick, 10-second information. You know what people are telling me today after I posted something? The president's supposed to come back to the country on December 18th. Then think about it. He's the chief patron of sports. He's the man who won, I think, 2-3 awards, Ben, for, I think, basketball, other thing in the county meet. Then you open the county meet on December 17th in Grand Basso, when the man solo arrived on December 18th.
But what you changing our conversation, man?
I'm
Can we
teaching
listen,
it.
can we
I'm
listen
telling
for
you.
tomorrow?
I'm telling you, what I'm trying to tell you is that people around the president take decisions without considering the political implications. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. We're going to election year. You don't think it's a perfect opportunity for George Weah to open the country and say something there for a Ungu? To have that platform, to be able to see that crowd? You mean him with again? That means somebody to tell you.
So let me ask you a question. We're about to go to the phone line, but let's just end on that because.
You last will bring
So,
bring
so hold on
me
one minute.
again.
So hold on 1 minute. So
No,
President Weah is not there. What about Zoga Wisdom will be there, right? You are muted, Fagon.
I said, and Louis Brown brother and the and two of them had an accident together.
Hey, bye. You probably get problem, man.
That me talking.
So let's just move ahead. We want to say we'll be opening the phone line, folks. Please call. You guys have anything else to say? because the rest of the story we can.
Yeah, let me. I just want to end on this note. I think, listen, this calls for, and I think everything that has been said here has been said in good spirit. I don't think there is any ill intent here. But I think whenever the president, especially President Weah, who a combination of a lot of factors, COVID, all these different things has happened. This is the first major trip to the United States where he gets a chance to interact with Liberians. I think they should do everything within their power to open the space up.
Yeah.
Open it up to let the president answer the people questions. The ones he can't answer, he will divert to, George Weah, he does it very well. He will say, yeah, the minister of this answer the question. Where you're doing, there is a physics and there's a science around these things. And I think a lot of the president handlers needs to understand this, that there's a science around these things. It's not just about feel good. It's not just about, walk into a hall and everybody's singing your praises. You also want to see the president under pressure. You want to see him stand before those people who, imagine the president standing before his toughest critics and engaging them. Imagine the picture that is going to paint. That, listen,
John Ben, let me say this real quick, okay? Really, a good politician would love to interact in the town hall with an opposition.
Yeah.
To knock that opposition out. Imagine John McCain. When the lady came to John McCain and said, Barack Obama, you know the story. He's not an American. What did McCain do? He walked to her, took the mic from her, and said, no. He's a good man. He's an American. That alone, you're looking for that one-time moment to make your case. And I think that, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's so damn hard.
But I think Dominic said he maybe they may be making some changes. Go ahead, Fab. Sorry.
Let me add to this, Ben. Like him or hate him, there's one thing I will tell you about the man called Money. If that man had walked, if everything was playing, even about booing, they were asking hard questions, that man walk in that building, the story changes. That the kind of blessing God gave at me. And if that man wore the microphone and entered the building and just stand right to the door and raise a song like, hey, yeah, everybody that inside there, everybody, I don't care what you say, they will join the song. With the hope that later they will stay talk, but they will join that song. That man has a different spirit. And when
Fagon, you are not there.
Can I explain, guys?
Let's bring it back to Richardson.
My 10 seconds. I want to end on this note. The idea of some mumu man them to think that when President we are go over there, people were attacking, people were asking difficult questions. These are the kind of mediocre things that happen within the echelon of power because of fear.
Fear for what, Fagon? Fear for what?
Who will come there?
The president.
The president.
Let me say this to you. Hey, man.
You're scared. Why are you scared?
I don't know why. I think they are afraid for themselves, not for Joe Weah.
The man go to the United Nations, he speak. What happened there? That DC, where people will not even go there from all around the whole country because of winter time. What is the fear? The fear is with them. They don't want nobody around him. And so they think they want to protect him, but they expose.
And I would say this, let 10 seconds old, man. You now go for 30 seconds, man.
This government, this president, and the failure to include Liberians in their town hall is an example of incompetency in high places. That's what it is. They do not know what they are doing. There is a science, there's diplomacy, there's order, there's rule, and we have seen this repeatedly. This man left the country and he didn't speak to Liberians in the country when all of the crisis was going on. He's now out of the country. He is still keeping speech from Liberians. So what has really changed? This is what incompetency does to people. If you don't know what you have to do, if you don't know your protocols that you have to follow, this is what happens. I didn't expect any better, honestly. I'm sorry that some of you have well-meaning and well-intentioned for this government. I expected to be disorganized, as all of you guys are sharing it right now, because this is the practice of this government. Everything has to fill, and then they pick it up and start learning by trial and error. And unfortunately, this represents our country. This is how we are being viewed by the outside world. So this president didn't speak to the Liberians in Liberia, the outside of Liberia, that we think that he would come to America and he would speak to Liberians. That's the question that I want to ask.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Can we open the phone line? Dr. Richardson asked a question. That's a good question.
I just hope they can organize it better.
Do we have time, Dr. Peabody, to organize it better?
Well, yeah, I hope they don't make it partisan.
Dr. Peabody, let me say that. Now you're pushing me. You want me to say this? You just been hitting me so high. You and Tommy George. This thing here, it was organized by sedition. So listen, if this was going to be one of the things we say, Yula, Ajay, and all of them coming together, I think some people in there, the love President George Mann, we have. It was going to be a unique program for the president. He was going to take the hard question. And I believe, man, President Joe Well was going to give a hard question back.
That's why I said it's a missed opportunity if they don't do it.
I believe, because imagine Liberians coming from all over. They will not see the president again till maybe sometime next year. Imagine president making this thing a historical page for your Christmas greeting. I bring you greeting from Liberia on this joyous month. Imagine the president is there representing Liberia, because someone called me today, they said Stanton. But let me ask you a question. I said, what happened? And it says Stanton. What's going on with people going to Liberia in December? Today is the 12th. People are not going into the country like before. Guys, it's important to note today that through it all, I think President Weah was going to shine. I think those that organize this thing will sit back and tomorrow we have another spoon talk. But guys, we sorry to say that I don't know what the team we're going to discuss tonight. I don't know how our discussion would be like. Washington, D.C. is but 2.5 hours away from some of us. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Whether we'll be there as spoon talk, whether we won't be there. Chairman Benson, we have not even bought a ticket yet.
No.
You know, and these are some of the things because of, you know, maybe, who knows, but I would say this to everyone.
Careful representative.
You know, yeah, you know, careful, you know, but it's bad, man. It's just not good. And I just wish that I had given the president a chance to shine and just greet the nation. I bring
see Moneyball saying he would be there.
I bring you greetings from your fellow Liberians. Liberia is doing extremely well. We have investors in the country. The security situation is under control. The rice situation, we are controlling it. We reduced rice prices to $10 a bag. And, you know, the latest census is going on well. We have enumerators all over, and we have now 75%. And, you know, Civil 7 getting paid. They have been paid all the way up to December 15, though today is the 13th. The president needs to speak on all those things. The people want to report. Liberia alone put almost $6 million in the country, in the budget. Let's talk about the rest issue. Let's talk about the census issue. Let's talk about now the RIA. If you travel to Liberia, what will happen? East International cannot continue. Let's talk about security in the country. Let's talk about oppositions. Let's talk about the election, Mr. President. Let's talk about bread and butter issue, how our mothers are doing. And I think President George Weah can answer this question. I wish the president good luck tomorrow, man. And I wish him all the best. I pray that God can give the president a long life, that he can shine and shine more than he have ever shone. We're going to open the phone line, and we're going to go ahead to take some question. Rufus, can you come in, please? Let's wrap this thing up. 6:30, 11:30 in Liberia. Let's take questions on the two important topic. The phone number's up. We can call us. Let's take your question. You have 45 seconds. All right.
077771075 055 are the numbers. Please stick to the issue.
Thank you, Rufus. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, your name?
Yes, Ali Kiadi, and I call you from District 10.
Ali, let's hear you.
Thank you. You know, sometimes the CEO can be interesting. I know sometimes you try to strike the balance to appear like CDC man, appear like Cummings man, or sometimes appear like Joe Bucker man. But there are some other cases that are dangerous to the conversation. Like Ben Sandy said, these people you call ex-combatants, most of them are also victims of the past we experience. So we cannot isolate them and treat them differently. Moreover, you don't necessarily have to be a CPP man or ANC man. This is a rally that is trying to bring together people who are tired of suffering. So we cannot ignore the fact that ex-combatants themselves are not tired of suffering.
Thank you.
There are people who are tired of suffering.
Thank
so
you.
we are not trying to bring together clergy.
The man 45 seconds not done yet. Rufus.
Good evening. You got something? Ali though.
Moses
Rufus.
calling from AB Tower Road.
How
let me thank the co-founder, and I want to send my greeting to Dr.
Go straight to your point, my brother.
Rufus.
Hello?
Give that chance.
Hello?
Go ahead.
How are you?
Okay. CEO talking about the president, how he lacks, Julius Caesar said no event can be a voter who can be public by the masses. Those diaspora Liberians, they will not come here to vote. So it is me. It's just that as a president, you got to address it. But to say the program is organized by citizens, yes, organized by citizens, they are the people that will be able to listen to the president. But those diaspora Liberians, they don't want to come here to vote. So pay 3,500 to come to vote in the country. Thank you.
Good morning. Yeah, hello, good morning. My name is Musa Kamara, calling for Kongota. I want to tell Mr. Waterspoon thank you for the program, and also thank you to his studio guests. And I also want to say we should not forget about the dark days. What kind of thing they put on doing, they must stop it. So my put that good for the country. Thank you.
But every time people go, hello, I'm Monroe calling from Calcutta. Yes, so the rally that is planned for December 17, a lot of people are complaining on the face of Mr. Brown, Louis Brown. So I always like to ask the question, where were civilians when Madam Sedis make Mr. Brown as the Minister of Information, and then he also represented Liberia at the United Nations. So they don't need on the tender record to represent Liberia at a higher height. And secondly, look at the formation of CDC. You have the vice president who was close with President Taylor. Why they always, pointing out the Louis Brown? There are a lot of folks who committed heinous crimes. So they shouldn't be afraid. Liberians will stand on that day. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Rufus, hold on. Let me bring in this caller. Your name and where are you calling from, please?
This is Uncle Pete, the mayor for all the counties. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Talk to us, sir.
Gentlemen, ladies, I've been listening to you guys, and I want to thank Spoon TV for the information you all disseminate to us Liberians. But let me just tell you guys something like this. Just what happening in Monrovia is what is being displayed here in the States. You will be struck, it will be surprising to you that there are ministers in Liberia that try to see President Weah and they cannot see President Weah.
Sometimes months they will keep them away from seeing President Weah. And this is what is happening here in the States. The citizens feel that they own President Weah. Don't you know that meeting they have here is being financed by the Liberian people taxes? The taxes of Liberians is being financed for that meeting by the citizens. But the citizens feel that they own President Weah. And this is very dangerous for our country. We all welcome the visit of President Weah to the States. And he should be seen by all Liberians. So but this meeting or this town hall meeting is held only by citizens. And if you go there, they will try to exclude you to say that you are not a participant in their meeting. This is very wrong for our country.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Do you have another person?
Yeah, I got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Leo Johnson calling from Canada. First of all, I'd like to comment on the Louis Brown issue with the protest. I think it's deceitful and hypocritical for people to be talking about, oh, Louis Brown are rebel, Louis Brown are this. What stopped them from taking Louis Brown to court? We don't need to wait for a war crimes court to come to Liberia. If Louis Brown is a rebel, we have video of all these people and testimonies from people that they've committed crimes in Liberia. Take them to Liberian courts. Those are also crimes in our courts. But until you convict someone of a criminal offense, nobody will be passing around here to be smearing people's character. The same thing they did when CDC and the other people will use these people for their benefits, they use them. But when it comes to them siding with the opposition, all of a sudden, they know that all these people, they are rebels. Louis Brown was supporting CDC as well in the second round. So, in my opinion, if you feel the protest speaks to your heart, go to it. If it doesn't
Thank
speak,
you very much.
whatever it doesn't put your issue, don't go to it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Somebody,
I got another call. I got another call. Sorry.
Hold on one minute. I beg you, Ben. Tumane, you have somebody?
You have this for this town hall event. He's on the phone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You said that again.
Thank you very much.
The town hall event tomorrow.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we
What's
hear
the
you.
person's name? What's their name?
Yeah, call your name.
My name is Mane George. And
Yeah.
I'm calling you from Washi. And I'd like to speak to the Town Hall for Democracy Forum. That is the Palaba Hall for Democracy Forum.
Oh, what happened?
What happened to money?
You lose some money?
Yeah.
20 is off?
Yeah, we lost him.
Okay, so maybe he
Let
will
me
come
get
back.
this caller.
Yeah,
Caller, go
let's
ahead.
take that call back.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. My name is Munel, and I just want to say this to the Liberian people. And before I start, I will say thanks to Louis Brown for being the face of the protest and rally. It's a rally, not a protest. Liberians will show up. And also, I want to say this, that I will be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. I will attend that town hall meeting, no matter what they can carry in the hall, will be there. I'll be going live. And if they give us the opportunity, we'll ask the question. But this rally is not about no political party. It's not about no politician. It's about the Liberian people. So we are saying that, asking you guys to show up, and they will show up. The Liberian people will show up. We don't expect all the Liberians, but they will show up, and we took it to that complex to remind President Weah that his inauguration was held at that complex, and he promised the Liberian people, and he failed them, so they will come out and speak. And this time around, you will see the Liberian people will show up. We don't expect everybody, but we will show up. Thank you very much, and thanks everyone.
Thank you.
What's going on with Tumane and George? He just on and off. Let me take this one. My friend, your name and where are you calling from?
Our CDC town hall to no opposition. Only us with the sedition and we inside our hall there. We are what job we are. We don't want nobody to come be asking big question. So we are come make mistakes so the comedian can start making video. After all, the whole rally, when they say the rally in Liberia, they invite with the sedition. They don't open up to us the sedition to go rally. How come they rally for them? Then the work can be part of our town hall. They're not happening. Let them go to the rally, go to our town hall. One can spoken on that area.
Who's asking?
Now, all someone can spoken, a feeling that means spoken me a pass. You can't understand English? You can't understand English? All the answer.
What
Oh, that G Curtis.
Yeah, man. He got me fooled there for a moment. I was like, he had me messed up for a moment. I thought it was somebody.
Josh? What's going on with you and your man?
You see how the comedians then can tell you the truth, but they do it in fun and comedy? He just tell you the truth.
But Tommy didn't get the guy back on it. Man, George, he's the guy who ran from CDC president, right?
Somebody called the man up. Don't you unmute yourself?
I rather believe somebody called man George up.
Yeah.
Who calling up?
Tony, what's happening?
My man. You want.
Wait.
You're not continue with it. You're not continue with the show.
No. Wait 1 minute. Say Tommy George. You brought man George on the show and you went off and you said we should continue. He's not speaking anymore.
But what happened? But why did do it? I keep strange.
No, I'm strange because you brought man George on the show, man. The man organized the program.
The money is one of the organizers.
Exactly. Then the man said, no, we should
hear him. I think
but Ben, somebody called him up.
Somebody tell him to drop off.
You gotta call him back. I think it's fair that we hear.
No, Ben, you're not getting it. Somebody stopped the man from speaking.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. No, nobody stopped the man from speaking, man.
Well, why are you talking him off? Say to money.
But Tommy, can you call the man back?
Let him move on.
I think it's fair for
that man will not come back because in damage control he might cause more damage. Secondly, when Tommy came on, he said, "I got somebody from the event." The man to keep quiet. So he said, "Man, George." Everybody knew he was the one that ran against the lady from Minnesota for CDC USA chairmanship. So you know now, Ben. That's why you say it too. Hey, he can't say anything. It'll be almost like adding.
Hey, I got somebody on the line. Hold on, go ahead.
My name is Acosta Speedflow, and thanks for taking me, Ben. I just want to.
Why is there a black on Augusta Flomo on this show?
Yeah, a black Augusta Pape Flomo.
Hey man, stand on release the man.
No problem, my man.
Augusta Flomo, even Adam Dolly, we need them. Go ahead.
Black Augusta Pape Flomo.
Real quick, I just want to reiterate the announcement that Louis Brown and the ANC and the CPP made for this rally. If you can pay a child's school fee, if you can feed your family, then the rally not for you. We don't want to see Moluba Yobo over there because Moluba Yobo between America and Liberia all the time. He's not suffering. We don't want to see him there. We don't want to see Mariah Yakula because Mariah Yakula, she can pay her child's school fee. She eating every day. She's enjoying because Louis Brown said, if you can do all the things, then the protest not for you. So anybody who can feed their children in America going to school, and they're not suffering. Even Louis Brown said shouldn't be over there because Louis Brown making thousands of dollars. He being paid. He can feed his family, pay his rent. The man is enjoying. So they're rather not for him. He shouldn't be over there. I want to reiterating their own announcement that they made. Thank you very much, Ben, for having me, and God bless you.
Yeah, we'll convene a meeting to leave your bed.
Ben, Pape Flomo made some points here.
No, that argument is immature and sophisticated. Not because somebody is not feeling the pain of the people who are suffering doesn't mean that you can't sensitize.
Well, but that's the message, though, Dr. Richardson.
Guys,
don't you think there's something wrong with the message?
Let's think in the bigger picture, okay? Just because I'm eating whatever doesn't mean that I don't feel. I don't.
Dr. Francine, you can't go there. Once you're not suffering, not for you.
I am going there, Mr. Fagon. I'm telling you that we are only looking at this message one-sidedly. We are not keeping a broad picture. Just because that I don't feel the pain or I'm not living the life of somebody else doesn't mean that I can't commensurate or sensitize.
Dr. Francine, Richardson, Chinaway, Special, listen, please. It is important for us to come around and tell you guys the truth. The truth is those that have organized it without suffering, those were the wrong guys. Those were the wrong guys. Let me say this.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let me say
6,
this.
7, 8, 2.
They are so wrong, and they will get this so wrong. And I think that one of my good friends said to me, Louis Brown is projecting himself, even more than Cummings. I will leave it there, and I will go back to St. Money while we wrap the show. Rufus, we're about to end. Thank you for bringing in those calls.
I have a caller.
No, that's the last callers. We're done with calls, man.
Okay.
We are begging you, Mama, please.
Moderator said it's done with caller.
Yeah, we're done with calls.
We're done with calls.
Our time is up.
Yeah, man.
He came for me to deal with.
For all the call you say, what they call you say,
I can't see the caller.
No, man. No, step that you forcing let me say something though. Let me say something. I can enjoy the tag team when they're dealing with the government. So when you see that relationship instead of dealing with the government, don't fuck up.
Oh man.
When that Francine challenge the man, what the man can do, he can put a hand right on his forehead. Francine.
Hello?
No, guys, we shouldn't allow Timothy to get off the wall. We shouldn't allow Timothy to get off the wall.
Yeah, but Tommy, what happened to manager?
What happened?
Stand on that. Did you take Tommy off?
No, I didn't. Seriously.
Okay.
Timothy went off by himself.
And somebody got that look on his face.
Yes.
He got that smirk on his face.
No, you know what Timothy said? Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show.
Timothy, Georgie, I mean, are you not with us?
So he took himself off the show for damage control?
Can you please be very clear? Nobody took you off the show, please. Correct?
Oh, Tommy Stocko.
Well, I don't know. I was
This caller is demanding that she speaks.
No, we finished with caller. What's the caller name?
That's the wrong name. That's the wrong one.
That's what's the caller name?
Letty Brooks Roberts.
Oh, that Letty call.
No, tell Letty to call by tomorrow, man.
Okay,
Tell Letty to leave her alone, man. Bring Letty on.
Dad, they say you should come on, Letty.
You're gonna be able to talk plenty.
Now I'm making it one talk.
Freedom station. It says Freedom FM.
Go ahead, Letty. They're listening to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, they're listening to you.
Okay, yeah. I'm laughing out loud because I don't know what's going on with Stanton. This thing what you're doing here is not right. Anytime there's a democratic issue, all people have the right to speak. You cannot censor any Nigerian. Speak at the town hall. That's the same way our people who are in Liberia, whether they have their stuff, I don't know.
Wait, too many.
Other people, you heard Mariah come to the show the last time, how she almost cried because somebody came and she didn't have physical cash to give them. That's like they have put criteria on suffering. Thank you.
Miss Letty, thank you. Bye-bye.
Tommy, did you see that you cut the guy off? The guy said you cut him off.
But y'all call him back there. I think it's fair.
They'll probably call him back and put him on the phone.
Call him back, Dominic.
Yeah, nobody called him off.
First, Stanley did.
That's all.
Stanley did.
Let me go back to
No, bad. Don't do that. You just come in. You just come in after 5 months. Don't do that.
You see, I know you very well.
Yes, you know you very well. Y'all been working together.
I'm looking at his face, and I'm like, okay.
Fagon trying to save this guy, but he's still trying to hang himself.
He's still trying to come. No, Josh, do not come here. I'm warning you. Do not come here. Yeah, man.
No, listen. Everyone that listen to us.
It's a fair warning.
Don't bring him.
But I'm trying to save the guy, and he's still trying to force it away.
Tell Fadi to come hang yourself. That's the same thing as Zoga did. Zoga, this thing just happy. Give it a 24-hour use cycle and see how the people receive it. Zoga,
So tomorrow,
ground that you can't hang yourself.
tomorrow, George.
That's the same thing Manager George won't do.
Well, they told me.
Yeah, look,
Send me the guy now. Let me call him.
No,
Somebody don't send that number, please.
No, don't get sent that number. If you're gonna call him, you call him, and you have control over the.
Why I can't call him, man?
You got everybody, my man. Don't do that, man. You full of it.
But let me call him, man.
No,
You
let
want to protect-
let people have time to.
Let me say this, right? These people that, to be frank, we're trying to help manage George. Let it fix what they have already messed up. Let it set it up right. Let it send us invitation tonight. Do what it need to do to help in having a better program. Ben, if Manager George come on the show tonight and we start asking questions, it will not be right. I will advise my brother Manager George.
Okay.
To just go do what he wants to do. Facebook out there, put something on Facebook, redirect the crowd. It will help the program. If you can't understand, asking how much government gave you, who you pay money to cook the food, how much you paid for the building, and all these other technical questions, Manager George will choke. So Manager George, chill, my man. That's what
Somebody damn good. Somebody cut your man off. The man said, "Somebody, why you cut me off?"
Somebody trying to save him.
I ain't telling him to do that thing, man.
No, that's
somebody.
Tell me when I'm
you know I won't do that, man.
Not telling him.
Somebody.
Well, I think
But somebody call the man back.
But I said, man, let's wrap up. Let's wrap this thing. Let's go. Listen, this is so bad. Why anytime something that they happen, people think that that's me? It's not me, guys. I'm a very
got
good man. I'm a very
got the
good
pro
man.
said it's still blocked.
I'm a very
yeah,
good
Adam
man.
Dolly need to.
Yeah, for someone that like cussing, they can't let someone show be cussing.
Agata, you're free. You're black Agata, man.
You put it trouble. The what jeans are jeans?
Mata slogan want you to bring her back.
Nah.
Mata slogan.
You know who actually shows a black Wele Tumon
At least
Blay.
they blaming me. I haven't been on the show
We
for
should
5
we
months.
should black Wele Tumon Blay.
I'll never come for you. Well, in Nigeria,
I beg you.
Right now.
I'm very serious though. I want to black Blended Jean Genius. I want to black her.
Wow.
Seriously.
But man,
I
that's
want to
certain
black.
people.
I want to black Tiola Gibson.
Nah.
And I want to black Wele and Barbara Cooper.
Well, I can find her own wall. So I can worry about it. Well, that's the let her find her own wall.
So you targeting ladies.
Well, I in Nigeria.
Let me
lead it towards being an anti-feminist now. Ain't see it?
Yeah.
You don't want you to talk.
You don't want to talk. No, my
All the people say you want black, that's also ladies. You gotta be careful.
Please some black.
You know you're visiting, right? You better watch it.
Adam Dolly, man. You're on black Adam Dolly.
Yeah, we're gonna on black everybody for the Christmas. Christmas Eve, we're on black everybody. That will be the Christmas gift. Okay? But it is what it is. If you can find us on Spoon, go on Fabric or go on Super.
They won't be on all the conversation.
No, they won't be cussing. Someone else will cuss. And you cuss will go back into the inbox cuss.
Look at you see money ball, how you get problem? You are targeting ladies. When you took the people to listen to this, man. The man took the people to a cup of coffee. He didn't pay. They had to come call him outside. He said, I'm targeting lady. They go pay the people $3.60.
That money boy, young boy picture on there.
Yeah, that one. Money boy working with Louis Brown. That picture. Guys, but wonderful show. We'll meet again tomorrow. That means also tell you that we'll be here tomorrow. Join us and have a great program tomorrow. We'll be talking about Solway, guys. Something happened during the anti-corruption day. They put sanction on Solway. You remember the guy that said that President Weah went to Nima and said he's my brother, and he was trying to do that mining.
Oh yes,
in Liberia.
Yes.
The company name is Solway.
Yes.
The founder,
Yes, it was sanctioned.
right? Yeah, they were
Really?
put on
By the U.S. government?
Yeah. We about to post. So we received some.
They sanctioned the
news.
former Guinean president, Conde, the man who.
Yeah, we said that, but this is important though. This is important, and we need to discuss that tomorrow. This guy been doing extremely well somewhere, somehow, to bring the company to Liberia. And folks, surprisingly to everyone, they put sanction. The owner is a Russian. So the American anti-corruption, international corruption, they sanctioned this guy through the Magnitsky Act.
The sanction who, the Russian or the Liberian?
The owner, the Russian.
The Russian guy, okay.
Yeah. And
I thought the guy said he wasn't, I thought he said he had no ties to Russia.
Well, the American didn't buy it.
Because I remember when he did say it. I think the lawyers or somebody, the spokesperson came on the show and said he had no.
So let James put it up real quick, James. So
I saw that they delisted 17 people from Zimbabwe. The U.S. government delisted 17 Zimbabwean government officials. But you know the Zimbabwean president wasn't allowed to come. He's on sanctions. He wasn't allowed to come to
he's not a question now.
No, he's not in Washington. His foreign minister is.
I want us to discuss this a little bit. What seriously? Let's talk about this in too many jobs. Guinea president, right? Conte. He was overthrown, right? Step down. But yet and still, American put him on sanction. He's no longer in office.
His bad.
But it's strange though. They have a sanction on Guinea though, and then the sanction on the president that was removed. America sanctioned. I think Guinea was sanctioned because of the coup d'etat by ECOWAS, other places.
I'm sorry. Y'all were speaking about the Solway. This is the sanction on the owner, Solway Investment Group, a Russian enterprise that has exploited Guatemalan mines since 2011. The leader of Solway mining operation in Guatemala, Russian national Dmitry Kadrekov.
Stop trying to pronounce that.
I'm trying. And, allegedly led multiple bribe scams. This is big. What become of the guy that want to do this thing in Liberia? We heard that he went to the U.S. embassy to plead his case. And the people say, my man.
The Liberian now.
The Liberian guy. And we have all the information.
Wow.
We'll be discussing this tomorrow. I will share the information with you guys. But therefore, there will be no way he continue. The agreement he trying to finalize.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can touch him with
what's going on. He's, the president said, well, that's my brother. I don't know brother mean literally or brother mean brother, but we got a lot of information. And this sanction came in a time that everything is collapsing now around this guy and the mining corporation, the Solway. So as you do your closing, please consider just speaking to this issue a little bit while we move on. Go ahead. Let's wrap this thing up, Dr. Richardson.
So I will start by the sanction thing. I think lesson learned again. We should do our homework before we start engaging in connecting with people. That's what I would say. But I look forward to getting more information today, and then hopefully we can explore it tomorrow. So that's what I can say. But, the conversation we're having earlier is I want to remind Liberians, gosh, there's this echo coming back, and we just mute ourselves. Yeah. I want to remind Liberia that and Liberians that we have a very complex country. I've been saying here for the past day or so that in Liberia, someone's terrorist is somebody's hero. And because of our history, because of our recent involvement in the Civil War, makes our country the country that we don't want, but that's the country we have. And so we have to accept people in our country as they are. The issue of inclusion in our country is something that we have to work on. I think some of us have spoken that we have not done quite a good job with the issue of inclusiveness. But if this rally is going to include people that we've marginalized, we should look at it as an attempt to move forward in our country, as opposed to bringing up some of the negativity and what the rally is going to do and who have done what for people who were marginalized in the past. When you begin to promote inclusion in the country, you begin to respect people for who they are, regardless of if they were victims of the war, they were raped, regardless of if they held guns before. This is a way to bring them forward and make them a part of our country. So hopefully we can provide the right help for people. My next comment was about the president being in the United States. Again, I will state I'm not surprised. It's been 39 days. By the time the president get home, it will be 48 days. The president didn't speak about the myriad of issues that we have in the country. What a leader would do was speak on legis. A leader would speak on the biometric situation. A leader would speak on the rice shortage. A leader would speak on the census issue. But this president, we saw him watching football games as opposed to addressing crisis that's in the country. He didn't do that. Now, pretty please, somebody tell me, he's in the United States. Did you guys expect him to come and speak to the Liberian people about issues? No, that's his trademark. He does not speak to the Liberian people. And that is a sign of weak leadership. That is a sign of incompetency. Let's not fool ourselves, okay? As Liberian people can say, nobody's stupid here. And lastly, I just want to say that diplomacy is a science, okay? Diplomacy is not something that you just put anybody from anywhere to organize this big event. So until we get the science of diplomacy right, as Ben Savi said, this is what we're going to expect from this presidency. So Liberians all over the world, you need to partner up, think about your country, begin to find paths in your head that you can rebuild your country. Other people in the diaspora, that's how they rebuild their country. They didn't just sit outside of the country and their country develop automatically. Let's partner up with our fellow Liberians back home and try to rebuild our country, including using the democratic process of voting.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. We appreciate it. Timothy, is the internet right? It's in Timothy George.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you do your closing, Georgie?
This guy's interesting.
No.
But I'll just touch on all the issues we discussed. First of all, is the Liberian people, anybody have the right to protest or rally, but I think they are calling for a rally. So it's up to them. And it's up to the people of Liberia who want to attend the rally or not. It's up to them, but there's a right to call for it. In fact, the Minister of Justice and the acting chairman of the cabinet, he granted them permission to ask the police to accommodate them. So let's see what happens on the 17th. And also, I want to just congratulate and send a hats off to Zoga Wilson for the county meet. It'll be starting officially on the 17th in Buchanan. That's good, Mr. Wilson, for you and your team. You know, this is a unity through sports. I see on the World Cup, I see the part the world when it comes to soccer and so forth. We've seen it, That's good. But on the issue about the CPP rally, people should go ahead and do what in the interest. Concerning the president's event, usually when president comes to the USA and meet with Liberians, they encourage Liberians to they tell you about the improvement in the country, about the positive things in the country, encourage Liberians to go home, to join hands with the fellow citizens to develop the country. And I'm sure the president got good news for Liberians from home, so he would like to engage them. It's a good thing that I think that somebody close to the presidency, I think they're aware of this. So I'm sure the event will go on tomorrow because the presidency will give me information later on tonight. So let's see what happens. But I'm sure it will go on tomorrow. And the president, I heard that he's encouraging this town hall event to engage Liberians. And again, they want to reiterate that it's not a CDC event. It's open to all Liberians. So Liberians should go there, engage him, be very respectful and hear for him. I'm sure he encourage Liberians to go home to take part in the elections. But one of the good things I would love to hear the registration, because right now some Liberians bought their tickets. They're going to go register to vote. And now NEC talking about they are adjusting the time. They're yet to speak to Liberian people. So that's a serious issue, though. People arrange with their time with a job and a vacation time with a job and so forth. And the person said you will be pushing the registration to a different date. You have yet to announce. The serious issue. Overall, you see that? Overall, it's a good thing the president will be taking the event tomorrow with African leaders and with President Biden. We look forward to hearing the president address that forum, and we'll look forward to hearing the outcome of that Biden African summit. President Biden says he's excited to meet with African leaders, and let's see what happens. But it's a positive thing for the continent of Africa, the U.S. engagement. And overall, my last warning to give the opposition: you guys stop fighting each other, hold together. Whether you guys will go separate ways, but the idea you guys need opposition unity. You guys keep on attacking. And then number two, sometimes I notice somebody who will be a running mate of one of your candidates, you'll be attacking that person. So you don't know how it will end. So if I was opposition, I won't attack each other. They'll just continue to just flow. But again, who am I? Just an inactive solution. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. The Saint, Tamadin Young George. Dr. Peabody.
So who am I? Just an institution.
The Saint, who am I? Well, another great show today, folks. I think it was great. Let me say that, just let me reiterate what everyone has said here tonight. That rally protest is healthy for the democracy of our country, and I think people have the right to do it, and they should be given an opportunity to do it. But what I would say here in opposition, like Ola has said, stop throwing stone when all of you are living in the glass house. Stop throwing stone, because there will come a time too when somebody in your part of the house will rock. Everything will come down. So y'all work together. But if you think you can sit on the other side and criticize and do this, it worked well for the CDC. If you think you can win president, we are sitting there and all day throwing to at each other instead of talking to the person that you should be talking to, you can. So I think people should work together. And also on the issue of what a politician have done for the country, I think we should leave that hand-up mentality. That if the person ain't come here or he ain't give 20,000 or 30,000 to a village, it means that he done nothing for the country. I think we should just consider the act alone, the idea of somebody wanting to go back and contribute to the country is very, very important. It doesn't have to be. Look, I mean, I hate to say this, but I do a lot of work in Liberia. I don't want to be a politician, and I will not get there one day. I go all over the country. Little may be known about what I do in Liberia, but I do it from the comfort of my heart to help people. It's not about everybody knowing.
You gotta get it.
Huh? I get CNN hero, But I think the fact here is
the orange getting seat, yeah.
No, I'm not going to no politics. I want to live long, I can't stand 100 people coming to my office and begging every second for money. I can't do that. No, I'm gonna tell you to leave in a minute. So the thing is, I think people want to go back and help the country. We should embrace them. We shouldn't be attacking them. Oh, you've done nothing. You've been away 20 years. Now is the time. If I stay away 30 years, now is the time I'm coming home to help my country. Let's embrace them rather than looking to that handout. That handout thing is killing us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Ben.
Thank you. And it's good to be back. Let me say shout out to everybody who has been reaching out to me. I'm fine. Trying to get this certification done. God willing, it will be done very soon. But I want to say, before I do my closing, I want to send a special shout out to my sister, Charlene Brumskin, who yesterday, showed great courage. Yesterday, she had her, the petitioning ceremony in District Number 3, Buchanan. and I saw thousands of people. She reawoke in the spirit of Councilor
Yes.
Bernstein. I was extremely proud, and
I support her too.
When I saw her yesterday, and I want to say to her, the joining has just begun. The race is not to the swift, but those who endure to the end. So I know she is going to be a phenomenal leader, and she's somebody who I definitely know will serve the people of District Number 3 well. And so I want to congratulate her and her mother and Mrs. Brumskin for being there to have a great show. But let me say, on the issue of the president's visit, I maintain what Fagon said. I couldn't agree with him more. I think this is an opportunity. If they don't fix this between the next couple of hours, this will be an opportunity lost. I think there is a huge opportunity here for the president to be able to come out there and have a very frank and robust conversation with his constituency, which are the Liberian people. The diaspora, it is said that the diaspora is the middle class of Liberia. There's not a group that you can take for granted. And I think the more engagements, the better for any political leader. On the issue of the protest, I am a huge proponent and a supporter of people's constitutional rights. I think everybody deserves a right to be able to assemble, to speak truth to power to the government, whether for or against. And so the only thing I ask is that we all do it in a peaceful and a calm way, because we want to continue to enjoy the peace that we all have worked for hard in our country. I think you guys had a discussion prior about what Cummings have done, what this person have done. I'm a little, there's a little two-sided coin here. One, I think I definitely know that Mr. Cummings has done a lot of things in Liberia. But like Fagon said, I think the messaging has to jive. When you're running for president in a country like Liberia, it's not enough to just say, well, I don't want to talk about it, because that may be what may not benefit you. But I don't think anybody can question Alexander Cummings' patriotism. I don't think anybody can question his commitment to his country. I think he has been a upright Liberian in everything that he has done. And I think at the end of the day, we hope that the day will come when we elect presidents, not based on how many hand pumps or how many school buildings that they have constructed, and that we hope that the day will come in our country where we will elect presidents based on their vision, their ideas, their plans, their platforms, because not necessarily everybody who has done something humanitarianly has ended up being a good and excellent leader. But until we get to that point, they say when you go to Rome, you have to live like the Romans. You can't go to Saudi Arabia and decide that you're going to go drink a shot of XO on the street in Jeddah or Riyadh. So you have to conform. In the current political landscape and current political environment, and I think that's where Fagon was coming from, and I agree with him. The current political reality in Liberia is that you have to trumpet your horn if you want to get elected. You have to talk about the things that you have done. And all politicians are not the same. Some will get away with it. Some will not be able to get away with it. But overall, it was great to be back. A refreshing conversation. It's good to see Stanton up to his normal shenanigans and things that he normally does. But it's exciting, and I look forward to to being back. Thank you.
I'm going to mention my normal shenanigans, and I will say this. I remember this word during my closing.
I knew you were going to answer
this word. I remember it during my closing. Go ahead, Fagon.
Yeah. Let me start by thanking all of you guys. And let me just close to remind myself that there are facts and you have fictions. The fiction here is the president is going to talk to diaspora Liberians. The fact is this has all of the tentacles and fingerprints of a party-organized forum. And it was intentional. Now that people have blown the alarm over it, up to this point, what time it is in the U.S., it's 7:14, for God in heaven's sake. If we're supposed to be there tomorrow morning and we still don't know the time and we don't know how it's going to happen, it means there's a mess. So the fact is, it is a mess right now. We can take the next 2 hours to clean it up. People were going to be there anyways. But the majority of them were seditious. They had the whole thing planned. They knew the whole schedule. they knew the place. It was not until yesterday that other Liberians started to get a tip of everything. They blundered. This should have been a town hall meeting organized by the Union of the Liberian Associations in the Americas, ULA, moderated by Alja that has VOA and all these top journalists all in there with them. Even though at the time they thought I opposed them, they had reasons to do so, because if everything government does, you will condemn, and I'm the spokesperson for government, how would you like if I call you cartoon pushers? And I did, and I have no regret, because I don't see you working for New York Times. I don't see you guys on CNN. Most of the members, not all of them, but the vast majority of 95%, I see you guys at the birthday parties. And so I have the right to criticize you too, because you have the right. Alja has the right to criticize the government and criticize people. So I believe they should have put their shit on and accept criticism. But still, that does not take away the fact that they should have been the moderator. They should have done that. On the other hand, I think the handlers of President Weah don't do well. You have a complete dysfunctional and, if you like, non-existent PR system. I don't think anybody wants to debate that. The president said he was going to be in the United States from the 4th till now, Ben Sanvi. He would have been meeting business people and officials, right? Since the president arrived here, have you seen anything published that he met with this person or met with that person? What officials did he meet with? Where? In what office? Now the president will go over there. Normally, what is done is that we sit on platforms and we get excerpts from the president's speech tomorrow with his colleagues. But where is that? Nothing. So again, government, the president's handlers are not doing well. And I'm not going to go to all the other things about the rally, because I don't want to focus my time there. I want to close on this note. Ben, you will be my witness. 48 days away from the country. You know what the president handlers doing now? They're drinking XO. When he gets back to the country, you know where he will go to? To his church. They will not say the president arrived today, December 18. Tomorrow, December 19. The president will address the nation at 2 p.m. They will not do it. To just have that man stand up and say, I want to thank the citizens for the manner in which you carry yourselves while I was away. On my trip, I was able to do X, Y, yada, yada. Nothing. But everybody who criticizes, they will say, gee, go to the chat, don't play with that one. But that is not the way to do it. And so tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope the best for the president and his team. And lastly, with regards to the rally and the tournament, I heard Tomali congratulating Zoga. Zoga knocked his chest 10 times, CEO. He said, I'm a sedition. I am a sedition too. We are going towards elections. Any opportunity you get to address a large gathering of groups from different sectors, take it. But you opening the country, me behind the man back. So I hope they will call Cummings or Joe Parker to go open the tournament, because we need a statesman or somebody there. So we'll be looking for who will open it. On the rally, to be quite honest, you guys were here when I asked the question, CEO. I said, did you contact the others? It looks like we're having a hitch or a glitch at this point. I don't know what will happen, but I know Liberians will come out some kind of way. Thank you for having me. I respectfully submit on that note.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fagon. Thank you, Chairman Ben. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Dr. Peabody, we appreciate you. Santomani George, thanks. As always, good day, Flomo. We say thank you. You alongside with Rufus, Divan Cannon. We appreciate you guys. My closing one. I would say to my sister, Charlene Bronsky, and I wonder why Musa Belete was in attendance at your, your coming out. Why? Yomdi Kanga Lawrence left you standing. Chairman Ben Sanvi, Musa Belete never show face. Was there Wadi Power? Did I see Wadi Power at the
It
program?
was intentional.
Well,
It was intentional.
Ben, I'm doing my closing, sir.
Yeah, don't try to create a controversy.
You see, Fagon, you see, this is what actually
you want to create a controversy out of nothing.
No. I saw Charlene Bronskin standing alone, like a child with no parent.
That's not true.
In the political arena. I saw Charlene Bronskin fighting for own survival, but these guys from Liberty Party that ride high on the sweat and blood of her father, they abandoned her. I saw Charlene Bronskin like a lonely child, and thank God for her mother, her biological mother. There was no Yombli Kanga Lawrence, no Musa Hassan Belete, but yet and still, if this sister fight to the end and win, they will all put their hand up and say, yes, she's from our Liberty Party.
Charlene will count
I
on
just,
Hey,
do your closing. Let me do my closing.
Yeah, do your closing.
Charlene Bronskin, I will remember you in my prayer tonight.
Okay.
That God can strengthen you and keep you. That you can fight a good battle. Because this is the party that have brought your father's legacy to Rome. I'm serious saying this. With all the hoopla, you stood alone to announce and accept your endorsement. May God be with you, my sister.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
My next representative for Grand Bassa. My next
you see again,
Bassa representative.
Let me say this. I think the ANC, because there is no more CPP, Yombli is taking her party back, and Yombli will not continue with what Musa Belete termed as CPP. I think there's no more CPP, folks. I will say this to you all. I think the ANC is in such a big error. The best thing ANC can do now is to join Ambassador Joseph Boakai and call himself opposition. What is happening right now, I will announce to the Liberian people, that's failure in leadership. What is happening right now that Louis Brown is projecting himself, there's a need for the people to call the president and the government to book that the people are suffering in the country. Yes. Have you guys listened to the audio tape from Mr. Cummings? We'll play them all. This was all about projecting Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings said it on his tape. This was all about projecting Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings said, I now believe that the people want me to be president.
Did he say that?
Ben, can I do my closing?
No, I think I didn't.
You always interrupting me, though. We have the audio tape.
Whatever.
Mr. Cummings said,
I refuse to be
interrupted. Do my closing. Wait. Fagon, can you help me? I need protection, though. You see, I waited you guys.
That statement that there's no CPP.
I waited you guys finish and let me speak.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Cummings, when he said that he projected himself, people got angry. The Mr. Cummings projecting himself, he using this when the folks come together and they were saying, hallelujah, hey, we got our base. Mr. Cummings need a base. And that's the base Louis Brown trying to give Mr. Cummings. Honor with tire suffering bander. Let me say this. Dr. Peabody, there is no more CPP. Or maybe the ANC party is the new CPP party.
I think you should take that.
Dr. Peabody.
Take it back.
Dr. Peabody, let me finish. Yeah, but hey, man.
You know him, actually. So
how can I flow?
Yeah, talk.
How can you say that CPP if you're only taking Liberty Party?
Okay.
CPP will be for Mr. Cummings alone. There will be no Liberty Party. Musa Belete was trying to find an easy exit, and the court going to give it to him. He started with Mr. Cummings. Musa Belete tired. Musa Belete couldn't walk because it will be on him. So thank God for the Supreme Court and the decision they would take to give Musa Belete freedom and Yombli Kami as political leader. Yeah, Ben. Thank you very much. You need some
Go
water.
ahead. I'm not interrupting
You
you.
need some water.
Go ahead.
So what I say? Let's
anything.
talk about the presidential trip to the United States. I think that, listen, the president will be speaking tomorrow, and that's a great program, I believe. And I think that those organizers that have organized this thing, I wish them well, and I hope that they will understand that President George Manawe is president of all Liberians. This thing about he be president only for CDC, it will be a problem for the president next year. And I really don't see this president as president for CDC only. I do believe President Manawe is president of all Liberia, the entire Liberia. And I hope we should project him as such. No, I'm not talking to you. And I hope we should, sorry, that Alexis coming back to me. And I hope we should. I hope we should project him. Yeah, see, I'm a shut up, right? So, yeah, man.
I like that you a popo intro. That's your popo intro.
Yeah. So I just want to say, great show, guys. We're going to be moving the town hall. I thought we were going to have the address I'm going to share for folks to go there. And I know Spoon would not be there. It's too late for us to plan this thing. We'll watch it from the sideline. We would not be there. But we wish everyone are going to hear from the president, wish them well. We'll be there through Kev Hassan because he's there. We'll be there through Kev Hassan. He went there this morning. He was so happy he called me. And that's why he's not on the show tonight. But we'll be there through Kev Hassan. And we wish everybody well. Go and hear from the president, President George Manawe. He would take a question. He would talk about Liberia. He would talk about the census. Right? Yeah, he's speaking tomorrow morning. President Weah would talk about the census. He would talk about the rights situation. He would answer your question about security in the country, that you're free to go back home and do what you want to do. He would talk about the way forward after 2023. With everything that's going on, he would talk about it. And let me say this concerning Zoka Wilson and the county meet. Poor planning. President George Manawe should have been the one to kick the first ball on the county meet. And I hope the president can be home in time to do that. If not, we're moving. Let's continue. But again, I would say we wish the county meet luck. Every county, we'll see who wins this time around. And we wish Zoka Wilson luck. I know he's a good guy. I know he's trying his best. And I hope that folks can understand him. He can take the beating, but he's trying to do everything to make sport to be one of the best in the nation. He played the game. He knows the game. But sometimes Toto want to buy or know him. And we leave it like that. Yeah. Dr. Richardson, thank you.
After the are we meeting today? Or
yeah. Kev saying you were calling a meeting after the show. Yeah, it all depends, Kev, whether you're in Blue or in Henderson X or who knows.
All right. I'll be waiting for the meeting.
Yeah, that's a big body. Thank you.
Please try to unblock the people. Okay, I'll call you after. Yeah, I know you're pointing to him, but he's on the show. Please tell James, let him unblock the people, man.
Yeah, James, unblock everybody.
Look at it. The way he say it. You see how he say it? Say it like you mean it. Don't say it like
again, James, no, I just gave him the full authority, James.
James, go ahead.
By the decree. So you can hear from me on black everybody.
Yeah, you see, send on let them black people. You'll stop me.
James on black people.
You're black, Elino Flomo?
Yeah. So black Elino Flomo. You see Rufa said you want to go. Huh?
Elino Flomo now have fair, man. Even though she get on the nerves sometimes, but
Elino, Adam Dole, James Redden.
Nobody will come on the show and insult us and just say,
no, I agree with you.
No,
you guys are very, very
rude.
They insult
Listen,
really bad.
Nobody will come on the show and insult us.
So on one show talking crap, just say what?
Yeah, for 4 hours we sacrifice our time, then the kind of
that's not good.
Like that.
Some of them insult, they're crazy, and
I know that I'm gonna unblack. Listen, James. Listen, seriously, unblack everybody.
I got that. You can find it right on Facebook. Your cousin, and we'll come.
Everybody have a new lease on life. Please, no insults. We can disagree. Disagree.
Yeah. We cuss it off. Yeah.
You will not be the same politician. You won't cuss. Then he said because when I cuss you back, you know how to find.
So is Tomlin leading the delegation?
Where?
No, I'm not going nowhere.
No. We're not going, Chairman.
I'm not going.
Yeah. It's too late, Chairman.
No, but somebody need to go, man. Somebody need to go. Somebody need to represent us.
No, man. No, they're not organized, man.
But
They're not organized. Kevin represent.
Well, let's talk to Kev. I'm sure Kev will have some information.
Yeah.
We'll have some information.
Yeah, I'm sure. He'll be up on Sunday, you know that.
Huh? Kev?
Kev plays a lot of goodies.
Kev is sitting with the principal, man.
Y'all have a good night, guys. Let me say this. Something serious is happening. Okay, something is happening. Let me say this. You have a good night. I'm hungry. That's why serious happening.
All right, bye.
Rufus, thank you, Rufus.
Hold it down, gentlemen.
From Black to People. Thank you.
Hold it down. No cussing. You cuss, we'll find you.
James on the beat. To get your information.
The writer once said, and I quote, if a child